Ready or not, summer is coming, and Wayfair's Memorial Day clearance is on now. Right now through May 25th, get up to 70% off everything home at Wayfair. Plus, score amazing doorbuster deals all sale long and surprise flash deals on Memorial Day. We're talking thousands of products at every style and budget. Now is the time to save big on must-haves for your patio, backyard, and beyond. These savings won't last, so don't wait. Shop Wayfair's Memorial Day clearance now through May 25th.
Wayfair, every style, every home.
It's time for the Larry H. Miller Utah Summer Games at Southern Utah University in Cedar City. Register today to participate in the 40th anniversary season of a Utah sports tradition at utahsummergames.org. Participate in over 50 sports around the state. Then plan to join the opening ceremonies Friday, June 5th, presented by State Bank of Southern Utah. Register today to participate in the 40th anniversary season of the Larry H. Miller Utah Summer Games.
Good morning, DJ and PK. It's 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Welcome in on a Tuesday morning. A couple more NBA playoff games, lessons to be learned. You know, we talked on Friday about going from good to great and how hard that is to do and how do you accomplish that. Pablo Mastroeni always talks about that. We had him on Friday. And we're just seeing examples of this over and over in the playoffs. The Lakers are good. You win 50 games in the West. It's the better conference. You know, they're in the top quarter of the league. Having said that, I don't think any of us thought they were anywhere near a championship team. LeBron said that during the year. Somewhat controversial. I think he was just saying the truth as he saw it. And certainly without Doncic, they're not there. But even with him, I don't think they're there. Now, having said that, down 3-0 against the Thunder with really no hope to come back and win 4 in a row. Nobody's ever done that in the NBA, and certainly a team is overmatched as the Lakers. A team is shorthanded as the Lakers isn't going to do it. But nonetheless, I thought they gave a good effort. They played a good game. They scored, and they took the lead with 40 seconds left. And in the last 40 seconds, Thunder did what champions do. Bucket, stop, bucket, stop. It's dominated. They won every possession in the last 40 seconds of the game. The Lakers didn't score again. The Thunder finished on a 6-0 run. There it is. Lakers were down 111-110, had a chance to score and take the lead, couldn't do it. They were down 113-110. They actually got a decent look at 3 to tie the game. It didn't go. And there you go. The Lakers get swept. They're all done. The Thunder are now a perfect 8-0 in the postseason and back in the Western Conference Final, waiting for the winner of that San Antonio-Minnesota series. Really impressive by the Thunder. And they got guys who are not in the top 10 in their payroll, or actually I think 14th and 15th, scoring big buckets late in the game. They got a lot of guys who contribute. They got a lot of guys who can play at a high level. It's really impressive to see how good they are. And as the salary cap inevitably forces them to pull this team apart, because you can't pay everybody, they just won't allow it, not under the current rules. You know, what decisions will they make, who will go, and how much can the guys who are left still hold it together? Because it looks like they're steamrolling towards the second title. Now, maybe San Antonio or Minnesota can get them. Maybe the Knicks can get them. The Knicks look good over in the East, but I don't really believe that. I mean, I have to acknowledge maybe it could happen. We've seen a ton of injuries here in the playoffs. Maybe they'll be gutted. Crazier things have happened. I thought the Warriors were going to beat Toronto, and they got gutted by multiple massive injuries. And they ended up losing that series. So, you know, stuff happens. You haven't won it till you won it, and they've got to win 8 more games. And the next 8 should be harder than the first 8. I don't think they're going to go 16-0. Scotty did come on and say they're going to do it in 19.5 games, and I still think they're going to lose 4 or 5 games. But they didn't lose any here. I thought this was a chance to lose one and get one under the belt, so not yet. And the other series, man, Detroit and Cleveland, good teams, not great teams. That series is tied 2-2. The home teams won every game. Detroit won 2, then Cleveland won 2. And that's the way the previous series went. Cleveland won that in 7, and the home team won every game. It's bizarre that we are 11 games deep, and the home team has won every playoff game that Cleveland has played. Let that sink in. That is bizarre, odd. And I think it's just a sign of a team that depends on role players, and, you know, role players are better at home. They just are. And maybe their star players are really role players kind of, you know, dressed up. They've had some guys who, they're starters, and they disappear at times in these playoffs. So we'll see how it plays out for them. I suspect not well. The Knicks, it's good to have time off. I wonder if the Knicks are going to have too much. It's good to have time off. I wonder if the Thunder will have too much. I think the Thunder are so good they'll overcome it. But for those of us of a certain age, we remember when the Jazz had 10 days off before they played the Bulls. Yeah, that wasn't great. The Jazz swept the Lakers in the Western Finals. The Bulls and Pacers went 7, and the Jazz series started first. And then they held it for a couple more days because they had a final schedule all set. It was not good for the Jazz. I'll just leave it at that. It was not good. So we'll see if that hurts either the Knicks or Thunder, because it looks like they could get a lot of rest. You like to have some. You don't really want a full week off. We'll see how it plays out, though. So there's the NBA playoff action last night. The NHL action, all right, Colorado's not perfect, but they're pretty good. They beat Minnesota 5-2, a game that was a defensive struggle for 2 periods. Both teams had a power play goal in the first 2 periods. So it was 1-1 going to the third, and it ends up 5-2. And Colorado did have a couple of empty netters there in the last minute. They scored twice in the empty net. But, man, those other 3 goals, they just those were all full strength. And, back and forth they went. Colorado can beat you with defense. Colorado can beat you by outscoring. Another 5-goal game. They've scored 5 goals or more in all 3 of their wins, including that crazy 9-6 game in the opener in this series. So it's just a measure of how far the Mammoth have to go. And, maybe some of the top teams come back to you a little bit, but somebody else will probably catch fire too. So a lot of work for the Mammoth to do, and you can watch this and just think, yeah, Colorado's now, what are they now, 7-1 in the playoffs? They're 3-1 in this series after winning their opener over the Kings in 4 straight. So this is an impressive, and it's just them and Carolina, it looks like, on track to meet in the Stanley Cup final. We'll see if anything can derail that. I kind of doubt it. They're up 3-1 on the Wild now. And that other series, that Anaheim-Vegas series, is 2-2, and I think that Colorado should close out Minnesota now and then should be a gigantic favorite, just absolutely ginormous against whoever they face in the conference final. So I expect it'll be there's better depth in the East. I expect it's going to be Colorado and Carolina, but I guess there's maybe a little more of a chance Carolina facing some better competition. We'll have a different experience maybe. We'll see how that goes. 2 games tonight, Sabres and Canadiens at 5, and then the Ducks and the Golden Knights at 7:30. And those games are both on ESPN tonight. So there you go. As far as the NBA tonight, it's just 1 game. Timberwolves and Spurs are on NBC at 6 o'clock tonight, with that series tied 2-2, and they're back in San Antonio. And they did not suspend Victor Wembanyama. They kicked him out and decided that was enough. So no fine either. No fine, no suspension. He's back. He threw an elbow, so let that be a lesson to anybody else. They'll kick you out, but they won't suspend you and fine you. Or there's a different set of rules for Victor Wembanyama. That is the other possibility out there. All right, we got more NBA hoops coming up for you later this morning. Stay with us here in the show. Kristen Peek's going to join us from NBA.com. We'll be going through some NBA reporters here, seeing their takes on how they think this is all going to shake out. The mock drafts are set, and we kind of know how people see these guys, but it's not a big margin, and everybody may see it a little different, especially as they interview the guys, talk to them, meet them, do all their deep dives and that now that they know where they're drafting and how things stack up. Be interesting to see. We'll talk with Kristen come up. Also, our spring football tour continues this morning. So plenty on tap for you, and Bob Casper will join us for the PGA Championship draft. And Scotty Scheffler is the favorite. Again, big surprise. Rory McIlroy is the second best odds. No surprise. So you got Scheffler, who won the PGA a year ago, seeing if he can defend. You got McIlroy, who already won the Masters, so even get halfway to a Grand Slam. And then Cameron Young, who's won on tour 3 times already. And then 2 guys off the Live Tour, Jon Rahm, Bryson DeChambeau, the next odds. DeChambeau is actually tied with Xander Schauffele. So it is the usual names at the top here of the at the top of the list in the PGA Championship. We'll talk with Bob Casper coming up this morning. All of that on tap, so plenty to get to, and more, of course, on your Utah Jazz. There was a little bit of NFL news we'll get to. The Dallas Cowboys are going to open the season against the Giants. take advantage of the hype around Harbaugh. Don't leave that game for too late in the season in case the Giants are bad. And I think the Giants have a chance to be a big-time turnaround team. I don't think there's a great team at the top of the division. I think that with Harbaugh showing up, we saw what happened when his brother went to the Chargers. We saw what happened with Denver and with Kansas City. When successful veteran coaches were on the market, proven winners, they went somewhere and they turned them around. Now, obviously, Andy Reid won bigger and, he has a better quarterback and all that. But they've all done it. And so it'll be interesting to see if they can do it. Now, with Jackson Dart, the former Corner Canyon Charger, the reason to play game one is he going to stay healthy? Is he going to stay out of the blue tent? Because he runs around and throws his body around. And people say brave things. This is the way I play the game. Okay. I just remember seeing Robert Griffin III upside down with his leg whipping around in the air, tearing his ACL. Don't get hit. You can run around. Don't get hit. Caleb Williams is doing a pretty good job. Aaron Rodgers always did a pretty good job of not taking the big hits. Heck, Mahomes does it for that matter. He'll run around. You can run around, but you got to protect yourself from the big hits. You got to know where everybody is. Get down, first down, touchdown. Those are your options. Well, I guess it's touchdown, first down, get down, but you get the deal. And then the Cowboys will play the Eagles on Thanksgiving Day. So a couple of names announced. This stuff slowly leaking out. They let all the TV partners have, all the business partners get a chance to leak a little bit of the news, and then the full schedule will be out on Thursday for all of you who love the NFL. All right, DJ and PK, we are going to take a break. Stay with us. Coming up, Steve Cleveland next, and we will talk NBA Draft Lottery with him. That's on the way. DJ and PK, it's 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Good morning, DJ and PK. It's 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Steve Cleveland joined us yesterday, as he does every Monday, to talk about that NBA Draft Lottery, the Jazz drafting second. What are they going to do now? How badly do they want A.J. Dybantsa? Here's Steve Cleveland with PK and I. Steve, good morning.
Good morning, fellas.
And it is a good morning for Jazz fans. A number 2 pick. Can you believe it? They finally moved up.
Yes, that is exciting, and I think everybody in Utah is probably pretty happy about that. So hopefully that turns into being something that can be pretty special. So I'm not sure we're going to talk a little bit more about the draft.
You have to get this right from the Jazz perspective. Austin Ainge is in charge. You know him well. You recruited him. He's got to get it right. And I think that, as I relate it to your situation, when you came into Provo, there were certain guys you had to get, right? You had to get McKelly Wesley. You had to get Mark Bigelow. You had to get Lee Camard. And you did get those guys, right? And they were foundation pieces to building a program and getting it back to where you wanted and everybody wanted it to be. When it's something that you have to get it right and you're trying to analyze and get all the information with people that you need to talk to and all that, how do you go about that from like Austin Ainge's perspective to make sure that they get the very best player that they can get into this town and be a part of this franchise going forward?
Well, you said it. I think first and foremost, just getting that pick is huge. And now, taking your time, not being in a hurry. And I don't know exactly how this is going to play out in my mind. I mean, obviously, we're going to get a really good player here. But, are there going to be trades involved? Are there going to be, what are the circumstances that we're looking at here going forward? But you do have to get it right. And Austin has been prepared for this for a long time. 20-plus years in Boston, and here he is now with the Jazz. And obviously Danny's been involved with this for a long time. So I have a great deal of confidence. These are guys that have been doing this for a long time. And I'm quite confident that this will be a real positive step forward. And we've got great people making those decisions.
I heard this story about Steve Fisher once, that he was a San Diego State and Michigan, basketball coach. He was this great guy, and he knew the name of everybody who worked in the front office of whatever school, whatever receptionist, secretary, whoever was right there. He knew them all by name. He's such a good guy. And I thought, well, yeah, he's pumping them all for information on kids. And I wonder if you could explain to us, maybe he is a great guy, but he was still pumping them for information on kids. And I wonder if you could explain to us, when you're doing background on a player to find out who they are as a person. And if the Jazz are drafting somebody for the next 7, 10, 12 years, that's going to be really important. How many people do you talk to? Where do you go? Where over time, where did you find great information in unusual places talking to people? Because obviously the Jazz have to do a deep dive on several guys now.
That's true. I think in my experiences in recruiting and, whether it's the NBA or, college basketball, I think the way I approached it first and foremost was getting into the home of a player or a recruit and getting to know the parents, getting to know the coaches, the high school coaches, the junior college coaches, whoever it might be involved. But I think for me, it was making sure that they felt comfortable with me and I felt comfortable with them. And I think that when I look at college, the college players that we were recruiting, we did get into the home. We did go and meet with the high school coach, the junior college coach. We took the time to kind of become part of their family. And I think having a family-oriented approach to this is where we found our success. Because you have the statistics, how they've played and how they've performed, but long-term success in recruiting, whether it's in college or the NBA, really comes down to family, comes down to people that you trust and that they trust you and you trust them. And then the one thing that we do have here with Austin and Danny in the past, that we have a relationship here with this state. And it's so important that people understand and players understand the importance of family, the importance of having I guess the best word is just a trust. And when I was recruiting and I went into homes, I wanted them to trust me. I wanted them to know that we're going to do what's best for the young man in our program, but we're going to do what's best for him going forward. And when you have that trust and you have that family atmosphere, you are more confident. You're more confident. And I think when I went into homes and I talked to players and I talked to their parents and I talked to their coaches and had that relationship, I felt more confident in hopefully getting that individual to be a part of our program, but also to know that this is more than just basketball. This is about really having relationships. And everything that I did and have done in life, not just in coaching, but in life, that the successes that we have found, and I'm sure this is true for you guys, when you've been successful, it's because you have those relationships. And so for me, you're right. Going forward here, there's a lot going on, but to have the opportunity right now to develop that relationship, to put yourself in a position where there's a trust and getting the very best player that you can get, that's the foundation to moving forward and continuing to not only drafting but developing relationships and going forward with coaches and coaching staffs.
Obviously, A.J. Dybantsa is right there to be had. I think the Jazz, if they want him, they can get him. They can make enough moves. A.J. could float around to the Washington people that, hey, I really want to be in Utah, which would be quite a surprise given all the stuff that we've heard about Utah. But nevertheless, he's here and he's been comfortable here and his parents and all that. And that'd be great. The knock on him is that, he's not a great distance shooter, right? He's not a great perimeter three-point shooter. Now, he's only 19 years old, so I'm not going to put a limit on him. From your perspective, he's got everything that he needs to do to be successful. If he can improve his outside shot, wow, he'd really be quite the bundle and difficult to handle. How do you get better at shooting? I think that's the bottom line that he needs to do to work on that. He needs to work on everything, but if he can improve himself and get to like 35% as a three-point shooter, he's really got something. So how do you do that?
I think, first of all, he has a skill set to start with that is really unique. And we've all watched him play, and I've watched him practice. And I think the first thing that just kind of jumps out at me is his ability to get into the paint and get into areas that he can take mid-range shots. There's a lot, there's a lot of pro players that don't shoot mid-range shots, and they're not comfortable with that. Well, AJ already has solidified the fact that he can get into the key, he can get into the baseline. He can take those shots that are difficult and he has the ability to put himself in positions because of his explosiveness and because of his great shooting ability in the mid-range. I think that a lot of guys struggle with that, and it's just the three. And whereas there's lots of different ways to score. So let's go back to that now. I think he is an accomplished shooter. He's an accomplished scorer. Where is he at in terms of three-point shooting? Well, number one, it's a different college is different than the NBA, and those adjustments will have to be made. But there is nothing in my soul that tells me that he can't be a good three-point shooter. And he already has so many different ways to attack the rim and attack the defenders that he's as good as anybody that I've seen coming out of college, to be honest with you. I mean, he's just really talented that way. Does he become a better three-point shooter over time? Absolutely. I mean, that's what they do for a living full-time. So I have complete confidence that AJ will be able to take his game to the next level and be able to stretch defenses. And once they stretch those defenses with his ability to shoot three, it makes him that much better. So I just believe that the time will be spent. There's going to be a lot of help and support. And if we can get AJ here in Utah, and it'll just change the environment of this community. And I'm confident in him. I'm confident that he can become a good three-point shooter. But you're right, it takes a lot of time. You got to spend time. He'll have coaches. He'll have support groups. He'll have everything he needs to continue to improve that three-point shooting. But there's nothing in me that says that he won't be a good or a great three-point shooter. I just believe that will happen over time, and that just makes him that much more dangerous and challenging to guard.
Darren Peterson came out over the weekend and said that creatine caused cramping. That's why he missed so many games. When you heard that, did that have the ring of authenticity? You doubt that story? How did that sit with you when you heard it?
That is a difficult one for being authentic and what's going on. And, the fact that there were multiple games that he didn't play, and I have no idea what was going on there, so I'm not casting any judgment on the young man, but it was just odd that there were times when he just didn't show up or he just didn't play, and so yes, is he a talent? Absolutely. Can he become an NBA superstar? Yes. Answer to all this, because he is skilled, but I think one is he's got to get his body and he's got to get that strength that he needs to become a better player, but the creatine and all of that, wherever he ends up going, I'm sure that the staffs and whatever organization is going to handle this young man, I think those things will be addressed. He is a talent, and I would hope that we'll see some growth and some development. It's going to be a full-time job for him. Those things do make you a little bit nervous, but there's a lot of money invested in these young men, and I'm not down on him. I was disappointed at times during the season that he didn't really have a complete commitment to what was happening. I'm sure that whatever program and whatever organization drafts him and gets him involved, I think they'll address those things. He is a talent, and he'll have to grow and develop. But I wouldn't give up on that young man. He's got too many skills. He's got too much size, too much length to not be a really good pro.
What's the number one thing you look for in talent?
Let me think about that for a moment. I think the thing that jumps out at me, number one, with talent is that as you're recruiting talent or as you're coaching talent, that there is, I'll go back to relationships and the importance of becoming a better player and becoming a more consistent player, and that was some of the things that troubled me watching him with being consistent. But I think with most young people and the people that I've coached, first and foremost was relationships. Second was making sure that day in and day out, that they were working on getting better and putting themselves in a position where they could be difference makers. And so I don't know that I have a perfect answer for that, but I will just say this, that the talent's there. I think the desire and the grit and the heart about it will develop over time, and he'll be a pretty special player.
So when Austin tells you what they're going to do, you tell us, and then we'll just all keep it on the down low, okay?
Yeah, I'm telling you right now. I saw Danny the other day. In fact, I was over at Riverside, and I chatted with him just for a minute, and they all seem to be in quite good spirits. And we will have opportunities to talk to Austin and kind of see where things are. I'm hoping to get up there sooner than later. And just kind of right now, it's kind of a crazy busy time. But that is a group of an organization right now that is pretty excited about the future.
Yeah, there's no question about that. I had it turns out, I would say the privilege at the time, it was the opportunity. I knew Austin was going to be a basketball lifer one way or the other. I mean, I could tell right from his freshman year. I was the beat writer, as you know, during his entire time there. And there's a lot of dead time after games and before games or in the locker rooms and airports and whatnot. And so we'd talk basketball. And he would question what you would do to me, or me he would question. Well, what do you think? He did this, he did that. So he approached the game from an analytical mindset, a strategic mindset, but he just had the ability to really judge talent, I thought, because we would talk about it. So you talk about how you have confidence in him. I totally have confidence in him because I believe that he just has the mindset to develop talent, and something that it's a skill, but I can't really define it. And so that's why I have this confidence. And I'm wondering, as you dealt with him, what gave you that level of confidence that you have, like I do, like we both do, that they're going to make the right call?
Well, I've said this before, and I think that, coaching young men, every player wants to play. You know what I'm saying? I mean, there's nobody that doesn't want to play and doesn't feel like they should be playing more. That's just the nature of it. And coaches have to make decisions, and players, you develop relationships, and it's always difficult when maybe you'd like to be playing more minutes or doing this more or whatever the circumstances were. The one thing with Austin was that we had many conversations, and listen, what good player, great players don't want to play.
Yeah.
And there weren't as many opportunities for him in that situation and circumstance. It didn't mean that he couldn't play. He was. You don't become part of a collegiate basketball team without having skills and sets and all the things that you're capable of doing. But the one thing about Austin is that he just looked at the game differently than most 18, 19, 20-year-old guys. And he was thinking way beyond what was just happening at BYU.
Right.
And I think you guys have both seen that. And that's what I saw in him. And obviously he's 20 years in Boston. He's now here with the Jazz. And the door's wide open to do special things. And we'll see how it plays out. But I have absolute confidence in him and in his mindset, his ability to organize, his ability to bring people together, all the things that are necessary to develop a culture and develop an organization long term that can create something really special here in Utah. So I would never, ever second guess him. And I just haven't had a chance to get to him and spend time with him. He's so busy in doing things. But as a player, he's skilled, but even more so as a coach, just understood the game and understood the value of togetherness and unity and getting together and finding the best and making the best and the most out of players. And so he's in the right spot. I can't wait to see him and where he takes this program and what happens. And I do look forward to getting together with him at some point in time as things settle down. But I love him. I love his family, and this is their community, and this is their opportunity to make something really special happen here. It's not going to be easy, but he's the guy qualified to do it.
Steve, we appreciate it. As always, thanks for joining us. And as you take a deep dive on all these top players in this draft, we'll talk to you again going forward.
Sounds good, guys. Thanks. Have a good one.
There's Steve Cleveland. Hey, reminder, coming up May 14th, Beehive Meals opens their new production facility in Ogden. Tune in as Scotty and the coach broadcast live, cover the grand opening, and bringing the energy. When we come back, Kevin Reynolds from the Salt Lake Tribune. He's been covering A.J. Dybantsa for a couple of years on different beats for the Trib, and now he's on the Jazz beat. He was in New York in the locked room with Austin Ainge, got to talk to him when those guys weren't allowed to go talk to anybody else. He's coming up next. Stay with us.
I sold my car in Carvana last night.
Well, that's cool.
No, you don't understand. It went perfectly. Real offer, down to the penny. They're picking it up tomorrow. Nothing went wrong.
So, what's the problem?
That is the problem. Nothing in my life goes as smoothly. I'm waiting for the catch.
Maybe there's no catch.
That's exactly what a catch would want me to think.
Wow, you need to relax.
I need to knock on wood. Do we have wood? Is this table wood?
I think it's laminate.
Okay, yeah, that's good. That's close enough.
Car selling without a catch. Sell your car today on
Carvana.
Pickup fees may apply.
DJ and PK, good Tuesday morning to you. Kevin Reynolds joined us yesterday. Writes for the Salt Lake Tribune. He's had multiple jobs as he's basically been on the A.J. Dybantsa beat, and he's going to be on it for a few more weeks. Then we'll see who drafts Dybantsa. Here's Kevin Reynolds with PK and I on the Zone. Kevin, good morning.
Good morning. How are you guys?
Good. Thanks for coming on the air. We appreciate it. And I will say that you're the Jazz beat writer now. You used to be the BYU beat writer. Has it struck you how odd it is that you really have a front row seat to the A.J. Dybantsa show?
Yeah, I just keep following around, I feel like, at this point. I mean, also went down to Utah Prep his high school year. So, it's been basically 3 years of this at this point.
Kevin Reynolds, stalker.
Yeah. And so you were back there. What was it like? Take us inside as to how the things worked.
Yeah, well, really anticlimactic. I mean, I know on the show they go from 14-1, and they also take the break where you didn't know if the Jazz were going to get, 1 through 4. But there, it's just they start 1 through 14, and it takes about like 5 minutes. So it's really there's no anticipation. It just went Washington Wizards. You knew that within a minute, and then the Jazz were next, and you knew that within 30 seconds of the Wizards. So, I mean, in that sense, it was quick, and really there was just, you took the note and then that was it, that the Jazz were going to go number 2, and then you go talk to Austin Ainge about what he's going to do. But the really interesting part about that room was, for a team that has never had any draft lottery luck with their own pick, basically won the lottery twice because the Jazz get the second pick and then they draw the lottery balls again for the third pick, and the Jazz won it again. And so they had to redraw, obviously give it to Memphis. And, Austin Ainge was so excited, I feel like, in that room that really nobody has any reactions to. I mean, Washington won the first pick, and I do not think there was even a smile from Washington's side. But Austin, had an audible yes, with fist pumping in the air when the Jazz won, and even reached over to Memphis's GM and gave him a fist bump when they won the third pick. So I think there was a lot of excitement for the Jazz because finally, something goes right in that room for them. And also now they have a ton of options for the future for the next, 10 years for what they actually want to do.
So you're in the room. So you had to give up your phone, right? Because they want this super secret. And then they keep you in the room for how long after this? Because they want the show to be a surprise.
Yeah, it's like an hour and a half because the actual drawing happens at 1 local, but the television show doesn't happen until 2. And obviously the television show takes forever till like 2:30 to actually announce all the picks. So you're really just in there, and the actual drawing takes 5 minutes. So for the next like hour and 25 minutes, you're just standing around, and all the people who are representatives, whether they're GMs, whether they're whoever they sent, whoever the team sent, they're just kind of mingling about. So for the teams that didn't win anything, obviously they're they're explaining away what happened or, trying to make sense of it themselves. And then for a guy like Austin Ainge, he's in there, just kind of his first reaction, his authentic reaction to what they're going to do at number 2. So it's a really long time to just be sitting there waiting for something to happen or just to leave with no phone, no anything, and really no contact with the outside world.
So you saw him be excited. Did you see others be disappointed?
He was really the only one who had a reaction. I mean, it wasn't like there was some big reaction for the Pacers. It wasn't like really anything like that. I didn't really – even Washington didn't have a reaction, which is also what made the Austin the Austin fist pump, I think, so interesting because and also this was his first time in the room.
Yeah.
The Jazz have sent the one funny story I think from Austin that he told us was that he went around, and since he's only been on the job for less than a year, he was like, who wants to do this? Who wants to go and be the representative? And pretty much everybody else on the Jazz has been the representative, and it's been a failure. Ryan Smith, Justin Bennett, Danny Ainge, his own father, he talked about that. And so for him, I thought the reaction was so genuine to actually winning the lottery for a team and a franchise that has been so disappointed, losing so much over the last 4 years and have so many battle scars at this event. But yeah, it wasn't like there was a huge sigh or, anything like that for teams that it didn't go well in. Definitely a very different feeling than you see on the actual television show. And I think people do have authentic reactions to not winning.
Well, I wouldn't have blamed the Pacers if they had a negative reaction because that was bad. I wouldn't have blamed the Kings either. It wasn't as bad as the Pacers, but those two definitely had bad luck in the draft lottery. I'm curious, with under 85 minutes to kill in the room, did you get to talk to Austin much? And if so, what did he have to say?
Yeah, no, definitely talked to him for, probably 20 minutes, honestly, just because what else are you going to do?
Right.
And so, no, but the interesting part for me was that he didn't rule out almost anything on the table. I mean, even A.J. Dybantsa, who obviously I would imagine it will be the number 1 pick, but, he had the quote to us saying essentially he doesn't think Washington has made up their minds and they haven't made up their minds. So, anything is really on the table for this pick. And he's not looking at it. I mean, I know there's an opportunity here, and everybody in Salt Lake believes that this is a playoff team next year, or at least will push for the playoffs next year on some level after you made the Jaren Jackson trade and you have Larry Marketing, Keontae George, Ace Bailey. But he doesn't look at this pick, or at least this is what he said yesterday. He doesn't look at this pick as adding to a playoff team or, filling a hole or a need in this playoff roster for the next 5 years. He looks at this pick as a kind of a 10-year investment, and hopefully this player becomes either the best player or one of the best players that the Jazz have on this team for the next 10 years, and maybe can, be a guy who could carry a franchise himself the day after, Lowry Marketing and Jaren Jackson and kind of this phase and this iteration of the Jazz either makes a deep playoff run or, whatever happens with this thing. So, I think those are the skill sets he's looking at. The other interesting part, talking to him, is that this decision I don't think is going to be made about just a body of work of college. Where Darren Peterson, obviously a lot of people have him going number 2. We've talked a lot about the cramping issue and him sitting out of games. We've seen it front row with him playing half a game against AJ and BYU, was really good, then sits the last 16, 20 of that game. But, this decision I think is going to be made – it's going to go beyond just 6 weeks of him sitting out of games. I think it's going to be going back to his days at Prolific Prep where a lot of people had him as, potentially the number 1 pick. So I think there's going to be a lot of phone calls to, Chapel Hill and Lawrence and Durham, but also Provo too, because I don't think they've ruled out necessarily that AJ could be a Utah Jazz player in some capacity, depending on what Washington wants to do.
Yeah, and we've had the opportunity, and it's been fun to follow AJ up close at games and all that stuff and see what he's about. He seems like a solid kid. The family's involved, and it seems like, they enjoy it out here. You could speak to it because you've had a front row opportunity to speak to all those people about how much, and it's unusual. We used to hear, well, people don't want to come to Utah. AJ and his family came, and they seem to like it. It doesn't seem like it's that difficult for them just to tweak it a little bit by telling Washington, hey, this is really where we want to go. Go ahead and make a deal here. Do you think that, or what do you think their feeling is as far as the opportunity to stay in Utah if that's what they want? Not necessarily what the Jazz want, but that they want.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't talked to them in the last 24 hours or really about the specific idea of them going to the Jazz and AJ playing for the Jazz. But overall, I think he is a rare prospect, to your point, that has spent a lot of time in Utah. 2 years is a lot of time. He's been at both levels in Utah. They chose to come to Utah in a Utah prep and really took a huge gamble there. So, I mean, he does understand Utah, and I think he's liked his experience with Kevin Young. But the other part that I go back to is AJ has also really wanted to be the number one pick. And he said that he's wanted to be the number one pick basically since I've known him, since he was a high schooler. And the Washington Wizards have the number one pick. Now, what happens after that? I don't really know whether that means, does he like Utah enough to try to get himself to Utah? I really don't know that answer. But, I mean, the two things that I think AJ's been very consistent on since he's been here in college is that he wants to play in the NBA, but he also really feels like he deserves and wants to be the number one pick. Even when he was going to Kansas and played Derek Peterson, and it looked at that time like he maybe would be passed by Peterson for the number one pick. So, to me, that's my first reaction to that. Is there going to be any manipulation of the draft process or trying to, go to Utah? I don't think he'd be opposed to playing in Utah. I don't think that it would be one of those things. I just think it would be, it seems like it's been his goal for a very long time to hear his name first in the draft.
Kevin Reynolds joining us, Utah Jazz beat writer for the Salt Lake Tribune. You were the BYU writer. And you get to see a lot of stuff when you travel with the team and when you're there long before the game starts and all that. And I'm curious if you could look at some of the interactions that maybe you had a chance to see or some of the conversations you had when you're killing time before a game. How deep do you think the love affair runs between the Jazz and AJ? He's obviously very talented and he's obviously super likable. Can you tell to what level they have a real passion for this kid and his career and his potential?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's something I probably need to really fully report out now as it gets very real, because obviously this was going to be, there was a real chance that the Jazz just got the sixth pick, and AJ's not even in the conversation. But, for everything, AJ, going back to when he was a high school senior and he was going to Utah prep, and during that process, he's been a Boston Celtics fan for a long time, but he's also been aware of Danny Ainge and the Ainges for a long time, and so they have that connection now at obviously the Utah Jazz with Danny and Austin in the front office. At the time, it was only Danny. So there's just been a lot of weird for the Jazz and for BYU. There's been a lot of these weird connections with AJ and a lot of these weird touch points with AJ that have kind of continuously furnished this relationship and kept it going. Even down to the NBA stuff with Kevin Young and Kevin Durant, who is AJ's favorite player? Who are the people that he looks up to? He's talking about Kevin Durant. Kevin Young happens to be the coach at BYU who coached Kevin Durant and Devin Booker and can get them on, FaceTime and talk to him about that. So there's always been these just weird connections that have always kind of brought the Dybantsas to BYU, to Utah Prep, to the NBA and having those connections with the Utah Jazz. So it's just been kind of, I don't want to say it's been this forced relationship, but it's almost been this, it always just keeps taking the next step forward. And also the Jazz have had a ton of chances to see AJ play because he's in Provo. Danny Ainge is front row at pretty much every single one of these BYU home games, right next to Brian Santiago, sitting right there watching AJ Dybantsa play. Also, he broke Danny Ainge's record. These are a lot of things that the relationship is there, the BYU connection is there. But ultimately, I do feel like this decision for the Jazz they're either going to have to force their way into getting AJ with a trade or something like that, or they're going to have Washington just not want to pick them. Like, I don't know how much this is really in their hands necessarily. If Washington is dead set on picking AJ, they do have the ability to do that now with the number 1 pick, and the Jazz have number 2. But, I mean, the relationship has been there now for – this is going on a 3rd year of them having the best prospect in the world either 4 hours or 1 hour away from the practice facility. So there's been plenty of time to develop that relationship.
Yeah, and plus they're going to move the practice facility down the south town. It's going to be closer to Provo. What you're saying, Kevin, is God wants AJ in a Jazz uniform. You don't want to say it, but I've got the seniority, so I'll say it, Kevin.
Well, yeah, you could say that. I can't get away with that now.
Wait another 30 years and you could say it too.
Kevin, you've just made a series of wise choices right there. I don't know. I'm really impressed with your brilliance.
Kevin knows me, and so he knows where I'm coming from. You got 6 weeks now. From a work perspective, what are you going to be doing to lead up to the draft? Because there's all sorts of possibilities for you.
Yeah, I mean, it starts now with the combine and talking to Boozer, Peterson, Wilson, and obviously AJ about are they meeting with Utah? Like, what do those meetings look like? And also, who are they as people and basketball players? I think that's stuff we're going to be looking into because the Jazz have a ton of options here to take. Like, taking AJ off the table, let's just say that Washington takes him. You have 3 completely different players essentially that you could build around and see what you want to do. Do you want to add a Darren Peterson and add like this, in theory, really generational guard who can score? We've seen him when he's healthy score with the best of them, and that would, in my mind, make a lot of sense because not just for the future, but also just in theory for what they're building right now. They have a ton of length. They have a ton of size. Walker Kessler, if they re-sign him, it goes Kessler, Markkanen, and Jaren Jackson Jr. But that guard line, adding another guard to help Keontae out, help Ace Bailey out, that would make a lot of sense just in terms of the next playoff push and whatever this iteration of the Jazz looks like. But you could also go the opposite route. You could almost have the, Cam Boozer, that would make some sense too because he's playing, he gives you a little bit something different than what Walker Kessler and Lauri Markkanen and Jaren Jackson can do, even if he is, helping out in the front court. And also you have the connection. You have the Boozer connection with the Jazz and Carlos Boozer playing for the Jazz, now working for the Jazz. That makes a lot of sense. And Caleb Wilson, we've all seen him when he played here in the Delta Center for that scrimmage. He reminds me a lot of AJ in a lot of ways, in some of the ways he plays the game and his length. And you could just have, in theory, you could have a huge lineup out there defensively if you have Ace and Keontae even, but also Kessler and Markkanen and then Wilson and then Jackson. So there's just so many ways they can take this. And I think that's the one thing that Austin Ainge said yesterday. One of the things is he said, getting a top 4 pick, even 2 or 4 or 3, or if it was 1, definitely changes the way they're going to approach this draft and definitely is a big deal. If you land at 5, I think it's a much different thing. At 5, I think you're talking about Kingston Flemings and Keaton Wagler and a couple of other guys who I'm not saying are bad players, but it's just a completely different ballgame in the top 4 in this draft. And the amount of ways you can mix and match this, I think, will be interesting. And I think it'll be up to the Jazz's preference in a lot of ways. But they said they want to take the best player at 2, the one, regardless of fit. So who is that, though? I think that's the next 6 weeks is right. Who is actually that player for them?
Kevin, we appreciate the time. Thanks for joining us. Good luck with the dozens of stories that you will be asked to write. People have all kinds of bright ideas, not realizing there's still only 24 hours in your day.
Well, I appreciate it. I'll do my best.
How about Kevin Reynolds winning the lottery? He didn't have to go through the 4 years of losing, and he gets on the beat now. Kevin, that's some smart thinking right there.
Yeah, February to now, I said, all right, I'm going to skip the rebuild. I'll just go to this.
Just walking into the Trib telling people how it's going to be. Good work, Kevin. Walk around like you own the place. What the heck?
Appreciate it, guys.
All right, there's Kevin Reynolds from the Salt Lake Tribune. Don't miss your chance to win big every week on the KSL Sports Zone. This week you can win a 5-pack of tickets to watch RSL take on the Colorado Rapids at America First Field Saturday night. Listen to the KSL Sports Zone all day Wednesday for your chance to win. The headlines are next.
Ready or not, summer is coming, and Wayfair's Memorial Day clearance is on now. Right now through May 25th, get up to 70% off everything home at Wayfair. Plus, score amazing doorbuster deals all sale long and surprise flash deals on Memorial Day. We're talking thousands of products at every style and budget. Now is the time to save big on must-haves for your patio, backyard, and beyond. These savings won't last, so don't wait. Shop Wayfair's Memorial Day clearance now through May 25th.
Wayfair, every style, every home.
I sold my car in Carvana last night.
Well, that's cool.
No, you don't understand. It went perfectly. Real offer, down to the penny. They're picking it up tomorrow. Nothing went wrong.
So, what's the problem?
That is the problem. Nothing in my life goes as smoothly. I'm waiting for the catch.
Maybe there's no catch.
That's exactly what a catch would want me to think.
Wow, you need to relax.
I need to knock on wood. Do we have wood? Is this table wood?
I think it's laminate.
Okay, yeah, that's good. That's close enough.
Car selling without a catch. Sell your car today on
Carvana.
Pickup fees may apply.
It's time to get your morning started with the news you need to know.
News update.
This is what's trending with DJ and PK. Hashtag NBA.
Schroeder ahead to Mitchell. Mitchell against Cunningham. Mitchell with 5:20 to go. Steps right, 3 ball up and good. Oh, that was sweet from Donovan Mitchell, and he's got 38.
In a game that's easy to just give up, but they're not.
Shot clock at 1. He had to throw. He got it. He drilled it. Reeves.
Double, down the lane, Hartenstein, lobs, inside Holmgren, catching, pump fakes, James, spins, dunks, Thunder by 1, Chet Holmgren, don't be so mean, a thundering 2-hand send down over James, nice pirouette, maneuver on the pivot.
Highlights from the NBA playoffs as the Cleveland Cavaliers tie up the Detroit Pistons at 2 games apiece, and the Thunder sweep the Lakers. Lakers are a good team, PK. They had a good regular season. They won a playoff series. They did a lot of things right in Game 4, and they led with 40 seconds. But let this be a cautionary tale to Jazz fans. Are you good? Are you really a great team? Because for all the things the Lakers did right for 47 minutes and 20 seconds, the Thunder closed on a 6-0 run. They won every possession down the stretch. They win the game. They win the series.
Well, yeah, I mean, Lakers didn't have their best player in the entire series. So take away SGA, and what do you got with the Thunder? Probably a little bit better than the Lakers have. They got more depth, but they'll always use that as a primary reason why they lost. We don't know what would have happened. At the same time, Jalen Williams doesn't play. He's an all-star. But then you get your Santa Barbara kid, Mitchell, just come off the bench and get 28, and not off the bench now, but you get my point, moved in the starting lineup, and they got several players who can do a lot of things. I think the overriding story of this game between Oklahoma City and the Lakers, Game 4, is it's kind of sad knowing that James's career has come to an end, because for Bronny, it's been a great 2 years.
And there it is.
Yeah. And so now he's gone. And it's sad. You know, the dream is over.
He can follow Pops out the door. Unless Pops goes to another team, then maybe, you don't know.
Do we want him?
Could be.
Still playing at a near all-star level, so I would take him.
Bronny?
No, LeBron.
I'm talking about Bronny.
You're talking about Bronny?
LeBron's old news.
It's a 2-for-1.
If we can get the dad with him, yeah, let's go.
Get his kid, have him come out of Arizona. He don't need to play down there. What's his name?
Bryce.
Bryce? Yeah. Have 2 Bryces. And then we had 2 chances for Thurls to say, Bryce, baby, Bryce, baby.
Bryce, baby. Cavaliers a 24-0 run, 24 unanswered points, and Donovan Mitchell goes for 39. And the Cavs even it up 2-2. At some point, a road team's going to win a playoff game involving Cleveland, right? That's 11 straight times in this postseason that the home team has won. Cleveland protects home court again.
You're harkening back to 4 years ago. Actually, Donovan Mitchell went for 43, not 39. You forgot those 4 more free throws.
Four more free throws.
He shoots more free throws.
39. 39 in the second half.
More free throws than the entire Detroit team. And Bickerstaff Jr. goes nuts. It's unacceptable.
This is such a cliche in the NBA playoffs. If anything goes against you, you go out and lay down the law and put the referees on notice for the next game.
Well, I've always looked at that. Majerus taught me that if you're going to complain about the refs, the only time you really complain, you can complain about an individual call here and there, but he would always look at the free throws. And he would expect on the road, you're probably going to be 3 to 5 fewer.
Mm-hmm.
That's just built in, right? But if it gets to be 34 to 12, well, then he would complain.
He's screaming, yeah.
Otherwise, he wouldn't say jack about refereeing. He would just go, and he wouldn't say it after the game. You'd have to listen to him when I sit courtside during the game.
Right.
And all the coaches would do that.
Yeah, he'd be working the refs when it was 15-2 or 20-6
if it's 7 fouls to 1, they will point that out. That's why any complaints about the refereeing, I always go right to the free throws. And here, 34 to 12, you know, whoever that is, it's the younger Bickerstaff. I don't know what's his first name. I don't even know. He's going to complain about it, as would every coach in the history of the game.
Mitchell was 13 of 15 at the free throw line. The Pistons were 9 of 12.
Yeah.
So that'll do it.
Right.
And on top of that, James Harden, you know, he rarely gets cheated when it's time to go to the free throw line. He was 9 for 9 at the line. So he alone canceled out everything Detroit did at the line. They were 9 of 12, and he was 9 for 9. So it's 2-2, and the home teams won every game, and they'll switch now to Game 5 in Detroit.
I said at the beginning of the series that I thought there wasn't much difference between the two, and so far there isn't.
Coming up tonight, Minnesota at San Antonio, Game 5. Big Vic does not get suspended, does not get fined. He had the expulsion there. They kicked him out of the game, but that's it. So now he's back, and will he have a big game? When he plays well, they win. When he has a bad game or gets kicked out, they lose. That's how we've ended up at 2-2. And the Bucks are yet again accepting trade proposals for Giannis Antetokounmpo. They're looking for something. You would assume that the NBA draft will be involved in this somehow. Draft test, that's part of this. So we have our most recent deadline. Is it a deadline if it's just the most recent deadline?
For the individual you're talking about.
Yeah, it sounds more serious this time, but the Giannis thing has been brewing for multiple years now. What does he want? What do they want?
I just don't know what you'd get for him.
Yeah.
He'll be 32 years old. I mean, he's still a good player. I'm not talking about that.
It needs to be somebody who's ready to win a title in the next 2 or 3 years. And they got to be willing to give up a bunch
desperate
of assets.
Golden State. I don't think they're ready, but they're desperate.
And they have, and you got to be able to give up a big percentage of your cap space. I mean, you got to go all in on this because he just makes so much money. DJ and PK.
Hashtag NFL.
Minnesota Vikings are going to put Adrian Peterson in the team's Ring of Honor. He'll be eligible for the Hall of Fame in another year. So, AP will be honored. Meanwhile, the NFL schedule, this is the week where the news starts trickling out. Then Thursday, we're supposed to get the complete schedule, but the Dallas Cowboys are going to open up against the Giants, and they're going to play the Eagles on Thanksgiving Day. They get Sunday Night Football Week 1, and of course with the Giants, that's Harbaugh's debut as John Harbaugh moves from Baltimore to New York. And play that big game while the Giants still presumably have their quarterback before he goes running around and Jackson Dart ends up hurting in the blue tent. So, big game right out of the gate. The popular Cowboys and the mega market New York Giants with the celebrity head coach on the Week 1 Sunday afternoon.
So you're calling it right now that Jackson Dart will get injured and will not make all the starts?
I worry about that watching him play, yes.
You worry about it?
Sure.
So are you calling it? I didn't ask you if you're worrying about it. I asked you because you sound like you're calling it.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and call it. What the heck? Yes. We'll see. I mean, Harbaugh's going to talk to him about playing differently. He's going to show him how Lamar Jackson played. It's his second year in the league. He's been hurt. Possibly the behavior changes. It doesn't seem his nature. His nature, he seems to somewhat defiantly throw his body around out there. I'm a football player. Now, he's going to have a coach trying to tell him to preserve himself a little bit. And it worked to a degree with Lamar. I mean, Lamar missed games. He took hits.
You think the prior coaches said, to hell with it? Don't worry about preserving yourself?
I think they did say it, but I think that this coach and coaching staff come in with more
credibility.
Credibility, thank you. Yeah. And also, when you hear something a second or a third time, maybe it sinks in. So the fact someone else is telling him is like at some point he may think, maybe I ought to play different. But it really doesn't seem to be his nature, so...
No, he'd take it right off. I mean, come on. I mean, he's a gay,
all of that, yes, but it seems like a bad idea. It seems like a bad idea. So you really ought to listen to your coaches.
He's a tough guy is what you're trying to say. Our guys, we don't back down.
And Giants fans love that about him, but, try to stay in the game, stay on the field. Bills are going to open up their new stadium against Detroit on a Thursday night football game, Week 2. And Craig Morton, NFL quarterback, took multiple teams to the Super Bowl, the Cowboys and the Broncos, passes away at the age of 83 over the weekend.
I remember him in the Orange Crush.
Yeah. 18-year run as an NFL quarterback. Didn't win either of those Super Bowls, but it's only, saw the list, there's only 4 quarterbacks who've taken 2 different teams to the Super Bowl, so. An elite list. Overlapped with Roger Staubach and
was he a pilot?
Dandy Don Meredith down there in Dallas.
Took him to the Super Bowl?
Yes, he piloted them to the Super Bowl. Pilot. DJ and PK.
Hashtag college football.
What will be resolved first? Giannis Antetokounmpo's next team or college football playoff? 16 teams or 24? Greg Sankey, SEC commissioner, still backing a 16-team playoff. The Big Ten still wants 24. Sankey, the focus hasn't changed. We're open to the conversation, but there are a lot of ideas out there that have to be supported with analysis and information, not speculation. So, Sankey standing firm. That drags on. Missouri Tigers All-American running back Ahmad Hardy was shot at a concert over the weekend, and he's in stable condition. He's expected to return to play, but the exact timeline to be determined. So, what started as a permanently damaged relationship after Notre Dame's college football playoff snub in favor of Miami is apparently water under the bridge for the Fighting Irish and ACC. Pete Bavacqua called the school's relationship with the ACC very good and healthy.
Bavacqua?
Yeah. Not that Bavacqua. This one could hit water if he fell out of a boat. DJ and PK.
Hashtag Major League Baseball.
The 1-1. Mayo launches one. Left field in deep. In the corner she goes. And that baby is gone. Kobe Mayo with an Earl Weaver special. That gives the Orioles the lead.
The pitch. Slider lined into right field, base hit. Coming in to score a rise. Here's Schmidt racing around third, and the throw will go into second. Schmidt scores, and the Giants have added on. 6-3 Giants, and Willie Adames is back.
And the Giants beat the Dodgers because lately lots of people have been beating the Dodgers. Giants win 9-3. Dodgers have dropped 3 in a row. They're 4-8 in their last 12 games. Have actually fallen out of first place in the division, at least temporarily. We'll see if that lasts. Rafael Devers homers and draws a bases-loaded walk in that game. Yankees, who are also, like the Dodgers, off to a great start. Like the Dodgers, also hit a bit of a rough patch because it's a 162-game season, I guess, and this stuff happens. They've lost 4 in a row. Orioles beat them 3-2.
Yeah, they're going to be firing Boone and bringing back Billy Martin any day now.
Billy Martin.
All the things they do, propping up Billy Martin, that's not going to happen.
Where's Joe Torre when you need him?
Well, Billy Martin's dead. So
yes.
Like in the 70s, they brought him back like 42 times.
Yep. Your Diamondbacks, the 4-hit shutout. How about that? Back to 500 for Arizona. Beat the Rangers.
They are a 500 team.
Yep.
But, you know, what they're hoping is to be in the wild card mix, and around July when they get back, they could get back their best left-handed reliever, their best right-handed reliever, and their number 1 starter.
So if they're hanging around in the mix then you catch fire when you're healthy.
I think that's the point for them, is that they won't be making a bunch of trades unless it's selling off guys because they have these reinforcements coming. So we'll see if that plan works for them. And then kind of maybe sneak in the playoff a little bit and see what happens there.
Bees are home 2 weeks in a row. They open a 12-game homestand here. They got 6 with the El Paso Chihuahuas this week. Game 1 tonight. Tony Park's on the call on 1280 The Zone, starting at 6:35.
Those Chihuahuas, they're tough little suckers.
DJ and PK.
Hashtag NHL.
Down low for Parker Kelly. Dybantsa knocks it away from Middleton. Brewery works it loose. One-timer. Score! Go ahead and Sally! Parker Kelly! A one-timer from Edina beats Volstead, and the Avalanche have the lead back. It's 3-2 Colorado.
And the Avs had a pair of empty net goals in the final minute, and they beat Minnesota 5-2. They lead the series 3-1. All the drama coming, well, not all of it. Most of the drama coming in the third period of that one. That was 1-1 going to the third, and Colorado ends up winning 5-2. Avs star Nathan McKinnon takes a puck to the face in the second period, draws blood, but of course he's back out on the ice in the third period.
That's because they bleed on the ice.
That is what they do, literally.
Yeah.
Colorado's up 3-1. The other series in the West, Anaheim and Vegas, is 2-2. They're playing tonight on ESPN at 7:30. It is Game 5 in Las Vegas. And Buffalo and Montreal played the first game in tonight's doubleheader. Montreal's up 2-1. They got Game 4 at 5 o'clock. Those are games both on ESPN. And NBC will have the NBA game tonight. So there you go. Coming up this morning, we got Matt Murschel, UCF college football writer for the Orlando Sentinel. Our spring football tour focused on the Knights. 8:30, Bob Casper, Real Golf Radio. 9 o'clock, Kristen Peak, NBA.com, and Hoops HQ contributor on the draft, and where Kristen expects this thing to settle out. What will the Wizards do and what will the Jazz do? We'll talk with Kristen at 9. That's all ahead. What is trending is brought to you by Shamrock Plumbing. There's no job too big or too small. Get the personal touch with Shamrock Plumbing. Question of the day. Coming up next. Stay with us.
For Jazz fans, it's been a rough few years. Well, those days are behind us as the Utah Jazz finally struck gold in the NBA Draft Lottery. Picking second. As the Jazz prepare to draft a potential superstar with the number 2 overall pick, nobody will bring you better coverage of the NBA Draft than the KSL Sports Zone. For all the breaking news, high-profile interviews, and player analysis leading right up to draft night, keep it locked on your exclusive home of Utah Jazz basketball. 97.5. The KSL Sports Zone.
If the world were like a Sleep Number mattress, everything would adapt for your comfort. Because as your life changes and your body changes, Sleep Number mattresses adapt and shift to give you personalized comfort night after night. And now everything's on sale during our Memorial Day event. Save up to $1,200 on mattresses for a limited time. To experience a whole new world of comfort, visit a Sleep Number store or go to sleepnumber.com. Sleep Number, to a good life sleep.
Hey, sweetie, your mother showed me this Carvana thing for selling the car. I'm going to give it a try. Wish me luck. Me again. I put in the license plate. It gave me an offer. Unbelievable. Okay, I accepted the offer. They're picking it up Tuesday from the driveway. I haven't even left my chair. It's done. The car's gone. I'm holding a check. Anyway, Carvana, give it a whirl. Love ya.
So good, you'll want to leave a voicemail about it. Sell your car today on Carvana. Pickup fees may apply.
DJ PK, it's 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. It is time now for the question of the morning. Hot takes or toast. How much does the second pick change your perspective on the Jazz tanking? Joshua, the second pick doesn't mean crap until the player proves himself. Joshua's not buying any of this hyper excitement. He's waiting to see actual wins.
So
buckets.
I guess when what was it, around 1970-ish, when Lou Alcindor was coming in, he'd
sat back and folded his arms, PK, from Kareem to Big Vic. Who's this LeBron kid? Magic who? What's
Tim
he
Duncan.
done? Tim Duncan. Who are these people in the history of the game?
Olajuwon.
Olajuwon's another one, yeah. 2 more titles. Add up all those titles.
Shaq.
4 more.
Well, yeah.
But this is number 2. Those are all number 1s. Now list the dominant number 2 picks in the history of the game.
I'd have to go back and double check.
Yeah, I know.
But I mean, the system demands you rebuild through the draft.
Fact.
Unless the system has changed or will change, this is the way to do it. It's the best, most logical, if not the only way, or realistically the only way.
Detroit did it. Look at all the high picks they had, and a number 1 pick in Cade Cunningham is their best player right now, so they're still playing in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Oklahoma City did it, and they ended up with a number 2 pick who's a good player.
Yeah.
A lot of skinny number 2s. With Holmgren going to Oklahoma City, Kevin Durant, another skinny guy who was number 2 pick in the draft. Went to Seattle and then Oklahoma City before they moved a year after he got drafted. There are people, and I think David basically sums this up for you and I. It doesn't change. It was always the right thing to do. And really not so much that they ended up 2, that's great, but they needed to hold on to the pick, and they need another good player. And whether you're drafting 2, 4, 6, whatever, you're going to have a chance to get a good player. As long as you're drafting, you're going to have a chance. This draft's deep. There ought to be a good player on the board. When it's all said and done, and like you said, 2040, we go back and look at this, there will be a good player a good player in this draft who was picked 6th, 7th, or later. And they just had to make sure they didn't give up their pick. Indiana had different trade protections, gave up their pick, and look at the crying and the wailing coming out of Indiana now. I get it. They suffered for a year, and they thought they were going to get a good player to add, get their best player back from injury. Your Diamondbacks get their best pitcher back midseason, but Indiana's getting their best player back next year. And then add a really good player to it.
Yeah, but they screwed up.
They did. Their protections were wrong on the pick.
That's on them.
Yep.
Don't be complaining about some bad luck. You knew full well going into it that there could be that possibility. There was no guarantee.
As soon as you negotiated top 4 protection, negotiate top 6, 8, or 10 protection, whatever. But they wanted to make the deal, and they thought they could have their cake and eat it too.
Top 10 protection for Zubac?
I know.
There's nothing about any form of protection that would be something that would be acceptable unless it was top 25. He's okay.
Yep.
He's not worth top 10. That was a dumb move right from the start.
And now they're paying for it.
Yeah, so
but
they made a stupid decision. It just goes back to
you need the draft picks to rebuild. It's really hard to do it, and probably only a handful of teams can. I mean, even Cleveland, who traded for Mitchell, a lot of their other guys, they drafted. Even some of the guys they flipped. You got to have the draft, even if the player you draft isn't the player who takes you where you want to go.
Most of their starting lineup is by trade.
Now, yes. But didn't they trade guys they drafted to get those guys? You still have to have the assets, even if the player you draft is the one who takes you there.
I don't know. I'd have to look back and see what they gave up for Harden. Darius Garland, I think it was.
Yeah.
And they did draft him. Jared Allen, I'd have to go back and double check. And Mitchell, we know. But see, I don't know that this was the right thing yet. I'm not willing to say it was the right thing.
Really?
Right.
That surprises me.
Because it's 4 years of rebuild, right?
Yep.
Now, you can equate that to going to college. Most people statistically will show 5, but 4 years is the thought.
Sure.
I had to work because, unlike all of yous, I had to pay for every cent of mine, so I had to work every year in college. My parents didn't pay a penny. And so for me, I had a friend who asked me, why are you doing this? And because he didn't go. And I said to him, well, what else am I going to do? And what job would I get? And So he bounced around. He ended up joining the military because nothing was working for him, so he did that. But it worked for me. But for plenty of other people, it's a waste of time. Or for plenty of other people, they don't need it. Larry Miller didn't need it to be successful. What was the point? Why would he go? What did he miss out? I mean, he built an unbelievable empire. So here, the point I'm making is, I don't know yet. It's too early to say. You have to get the players, and then they have to play to the level that you want them to play at. And that hasn't happened. The first comment, you made it sound like no, that's definitively no. Mine is incomplete, because I'm not sure yet. They went through 4 years of miserality, and they're over that now, and they made a trade, multiple trades, to bring in a front line. I mean, if Kessler resigns, their starting front line most likely will be all acquisitions, not drafts.
Marketing traded.
Right.
Jackson traded.
Right.
Kessler.
Draft night trade, right?
Draft night trade.
Yeah. So
he was in the Gobert, Minnesota.
And if it clicks and they're healthy and they do their thing and they win 50 games, and this pick that you used to draft, and they acquired Keontae George through a pick that wasn't their pick, so that's a bonus. And their pick on the tank was Ace Bailey, and now we'll see here. If it comes together, which I think it will, then yes. But I'm not ready to say definitively this was absolutely the right move because I haven't seen the product. These guys have not played any games together. And Markkanen and Jackson played 2, but Kessler 0. So I want to see it. When I see it, I think I'll like it, but I still haven't seen it yet. So I'm a little apprehensive to say absolutely. I'm leaning heavily toward it, but I haven't seen it yet.
I just think they needed to tank to get the high draft picks, although it is possible they will mess up those picks. But then the mistake in my mind isn't tanking. The mistake in their mind is, well, you messed up the picks.
Yeah, but that's
tomato, tomato?
Yeah.
Potato, potato.
Simply getting the picks wasn't the goal. Getting the player, the quality player with the pick is the goal.
I get that. But
so,
nonetheless,
no, they go hand in hand. You can't have one without the other.
There. You can't have the second pick without the tanking.
But if you don't get a player and you get a Kwame Brown or an Adam Morrison or a Sheem Thabit or Enes Kanter, what difference did it make? It was an absolute waste of time. Just like if I went to college, got a degree, and then didn't get a job and I sat on my mother's couch, what good was it? I have the degree, but if I don't use it, then having the degree guarantees absolutely nothing. It's then what do you do unless you are born on third base and you think you hit a triple and your father buys something for you and you think you're all that. Good for you. But the rest of us, we got to go out and hustle. I had to start for $210 a week, working 60 hours a week at the Casa Grande Dispatch.
James thinks this is a terrible thing. He says they tank every year. James doesn't want to hear it. There's no hope. It's over. They're dead to James. And to Alex, too. Oh, they'll still suck the next 5 years with that defense. Well, yeah, if they don't get better defensively, they will still suck, Alex. You got me there. I'm anticipating they get better defensively. But, yeah, if you keep getting yourself ranked 30th or 29th defensively, yeah.
Oh,
that's a product of the tank.
Who are they playing?
Yeah. Guys who will give up buckets on purpose because they're tanking.
What they've done is now irrelevant. It's what they do that matters. But I absolutely think that you have to get good players or the tanking was a huge waste of time. I covered the Clippers. And they drafted Bo Kimball.
They drafted wrong, and when they drafted right, the player got hurt.
Yeah. And
they brought in Larry Brown to fix it for 2 years, and then they went right back to another decade of disasters.
So all those draft picks Didn't mean anything. And then you're talking to Manning, who got the double knee surgery, and so they seem to be jinxed there. I can remember when they brought in Kimball, and I'm sitting there, and their press row was not really on the press row. It was off to the side a little bit, and it was amphitheatered. So you had like 4 rows that went up, still close to the court. And 2 NBA guys who were prominent, but for the life of me, I can't remember who they were. But I could hear them. They're right behind me, right? And one guy says, that guy is the worst number 8 selection of all time. He can't play. You can hear their conversations.
Right.
And so they didn't cash in. You have to cash in. Simply tank. Any team can tank. That doesn't take skill. What takes skill is identifying the right players. That's where it's like people walk around with a big dog and they think there's something special. No, you're not. Anybody can get a big dog. You want separation? Do stuff that not everybody can do. It doesn't take talent to have a big dog and act like you're, wow. You go to the park and your dog is the biggest, baddest, meanest dog out there? Well, that makes you special? No. Anybody can tank. It's been proven.
Jet says through the 6 teams left in the playoff, got there by tanking multiple seasons. So I take it Chad is in favor of the tank.
But that doesn't mean it was successful. The Suns didn't make the playoffs for 10 years. 10 years. That's close to a decade. And with that in mind, Dragan Bender, Josh Jackson, Alex Len. I read you the picks the other day.
You did.
Marquise Chris. Bust, you shall be. I mean, that was nothing but a bust. All those guys were busts.
The Mount Rushmore, Phoenix Suns bust.
Yeah.
Right there. The Fab Four.
Right. And then, ironically, they draft like 13th or something in there, and they take Booker. Player. But when they had all the high picks, they couldn't do it.
Greg says, from day one, I've been saying that 38 of the last 4 championship teams have been won by teams with multiple number 7 or higher draft picks. Often 4 or even 5 players. Jazz could never achieve that because since Carl, they've added one about every 13 years. The tank was always about loading up on talent. I love we got the number 2 in this draft, but if we got 7 or 8, I would have still realized that this tank was required if we want to win a championship. For those keeping track, the Jazz will go into next season with 4 players who were top 7 draft picks. So Greg doing a deep dive on draft history into the championship. Now, you obviously don't have to draft all those guys. You could
they didn't
trade
because it's Jaren Jackson and Markkanen.
Right. And of the 38 of the 40, some were acquired through trades or free agency.
Okay, but that doesn't necessarily mean you have to tank.
But do you if you're not in a glamour? I mean, the Lakers won a bunch of those championships, and obviously Kobe was a draft day trade. Shaq was a free agent. Pau Gasol was a trade. Kareem was a trade. So they've been getting key players nonstop. But the Lakers can do that. Can everybody else?
Yeah, I don't think Gasol did. Though I don't think being in Los Angeles had anything to do with them getting Gasol. That was just a shrewd move. Wasn't
like Luka Doncic fallen.
Foreign guys don't desire overwhelmingly to go to Los Angeles or wherever. They're foreign guys. They don't care.
They largely do not.
Yeah. Now the others want the other stuff.
Yeah, after Doncic was in Dallas and he liked Dallas and he had some roots there, he
was
wanted
crushed.
to stay. Yeah.
Listen to him talk.
Right.
Yeah. And his predecessor in the foreign realm.
Dirk.
Yeah.
Dirk Nowitzki.
And he's Mr. Dallas. He is Mr. Maverick. Which I always thought, if you could do that, that's like the coolest.
People are going away from that now.
I don't know about that. Doncic didn't go away from it. They jettisoned him.
They did it to him, yeah.
Yeah. It doesn't take away the fact that it's still cool. And guys who didn't do it as you said yesterday, you named multiple guys who you have been told regretted it. Here.
No, in the Utah Jazz organization. Yeah. D. Will came on our show and said it.
What did you gain by leaving?
Yeah. And I've heard Hayward.
What did he gain?
Back channel. No, he didn't. A big contract in Boston, but that was
going to get that anyway.
He was going to make money here.
He's going to be obscenely filthy rich.
All right.
Just by being tall and working at his game.
Yeah.
It was here, there, everywhere.
He was going to get paid.
Yeah. Well, and I'm over that. And good for those guys. The fact they make life-changing, generational, life-changing money, and they live the high life. I mean, yeah, they all do. And so many of them are just average guys, and they make life-changing money. So if you're an all-star, wow. But as long as you cash in on it, then you're good to go. You have to cash in on it. In fact, I would argue if you didn't cash in on it, that makes the tanking worthless.
Justice says the pro side of this argument is the future's going to be fun. The trade-off is I haven't been very invested the last 3 to 4 years. 6th seed in the West next year, baby.
I think you were invested in the Jazz. You just weren't invested game to game like you used to be.
That's why I think he said very invested. There's still a tie.
You're invested to the franchise and what they do, but not the literal
games. You don't feel compelled to turn
January,
it on
February,
and watch all 4 quarters.
Yeah. And there will come a time here very soon, you will be. There's hundreds of thousands, as Austin Ainge called it, Jazz Nation.
Everybody's a nation now.
And a lot of people think Utah is a state unto itself in the Union.
It's a breakaway republic.
So we actually can lay claim to that phrase more than anybody in the country.
Are there any franchises that aren't nations, though? Red Sox Nation, Cub Nation. Everybody uses that now.
Right.
It's just totally worn out.
Red Sox and Cubs.
You're not buying Marlins Nation?
They're actually multiple states.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
We're out here in Utah.
We
don't. It's like
Southern Idaho and Western Wyoming.
Exactly, which only exasperates it or strengthens the argument. Southern Wyoming. What is Southern?
It's not exactly Southern.
Evanston. That's it. And maybe Rock Springs.
It's not exactly Southern Connecticut or Northern New Jersey.
No, not at all. And it's North Jersey. Quit saying North.
Northern. So it's South Jersey and North Jersey.
Yes.
It's not Northern Jersey and Southern Jersey.
No, you said that the other day. It's North Jersey, not Northern.
All right.
It's Northern Utah and Southern Utah, but it is not that for Jersey.
Right. And here,
it ain't North California. I can tell you that it's
Northern California and Southern California.
I know.
So it's a West Coast, East Coast thing.
Yeah, I got you. Maybe it is. Maybe you're right. Yeah, I hadn't thought about that. But
let's talk to somebody from Georgia and see.
And it's the same thing in Arizona, for that matter.
Northern Arizona, Southern Arizona.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's not South Arizona.
No. Yeah, it's not.
Maybe that is
might be. I don't know.
East-West thing. Yeah.
But here, we're thought of as really not part of the Union.
Outliers, if you will.
So nation really applies to us.
More than all these other guys, right?
Yes.
Chicago, Boston, I mean.
You say Jazz Nation, what do you think of? Well, the fact is, you think all those people out there, those fanatics, do they have horns? Right? You say Red Sox Nation.
Well, that escalated quickly.
Is it part of Connecticut? Where's the part?
Yeah.
You don't even know.
No, it's also Maine and New Hampshire.
Yeah, you got all those
states. Yeah.
Like, which state? Jazz Nation. Boom. You know exactly where we're talking about. Boom. So Jazz Nation, that term applies more accurately than ever. So I'm glad that Austin used it. And I think the new guy, whoever took Dan Roberts' place, once they get good and he gets to, how about this Jazz Nation? Come on, man.
Tweak it a little bit.
Yeah. We are a nation unto ourselves. Absolutely. I hear you. Yock's looking at you. Look at your phone.
I know.
You got something you got to read.
I know. New sponsor just signed at 7:14 this morning.
I hope so. More money for you. Heaven knows you don't need it.
Nope, that's not what it was. Something else.
What? Well, leave me hanging. I'm part of the show, too. You guys with these interpersonal messages. What are we in freaking junior high here?
Look at your phone. You got a text, too.
Well, you didn't tell me to look. You pointed at me to point to him.
Because El Capitan has to do something here.
Yuck would like me to tell you that right now we're going to break, number one. And number two, caller 12 at 801-575-ZONE will be assigned a golfer in the PGA Championship this week. We're signing listeners. One of the top 25 players in the world, and one listener gets the field. The winner will receive a Copper Rock logo golf bag and a $100 gas gift card. It's brought to you by Copper Rock, where the pros play.
Copper Rock.
Now you're up to speed. You know what it was all about. There it is.
Well, I just don't want, you guys sharing notes to each other.
This is messed up. We'll have to fix it during
Talking about the girls in the class who you like or something.
What's going on here?
You got it?
No, I don't think so. I don't know what LXE month
All right, well,
is, but it's not the right
this
thing.
This is the new thing. You tip it to me, and then I'll point. I'll point to my eye. Left eye.
We'll take a break. We'll regroup. Left eye Kinahan?
Yeah.
We're calling, signs from the dugout.
Mad Murschel, UCF, and college football writer for the Orlando Sentinel. Spring football tour, top of the hour. You and Cougar fans, that's coming up. Stay with us.
3, 2, 1. This is Scotty G and Coach Tim LeCoe.
The head coach of the University of Utah, Alex Jensen, kind enough to hang out with us.
I knew there's not any one person or one thing to blame, but the decline with the basketball at the University of Utah, I knew it had gone down. We played 4 top 10 teams at home, and we played Arizona was number 1 in the country, and the place was half full. And I remember walking out, and it was the first time I got pissed off because things had just slid, and it's everything. There's just a disconnect, I think, through the community. I can't count how many people that came up and said, yeah, we've had tickets, or we used to have tickets. Everybody remembers going to a camp when they were young, and they have memories of a game and stuff. It takes a while to build. The connection's been lost, and it doesn't help that the team changes as much as it does every year. I'd love to have the continuity, but that's just not with the rules the way they are now. It's not the world we live in.
Catch Scotty G and Coach weekdays from 10 to 2, presented by Mountain Land Supply on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Question of the morning. How much does the second pick change your perspective on the Jazz tanking? And Phillips says, now that the mess the Millers left is finally cleaned up, the rebuild is complete, and the Jazz can show what they are capable of and just how bright their future is. Go Jazz. I'm quite sure I could get someone from the Miller organization on the phone who would dispute that immediately, PK.
Hey, what mess did they leave?
That would be exactly their point. They left a team that was in the playoffs.
They sold the team.
Yeah, 6 times. I think they went to the playoffs 6 times in a row. Won a series 3 times. Lost in the opening round the other 3 times. So that would be the mess.
I don't understand that.
No. I think they look at it exactly the opposite way. Well, as a playoff team, yeah, you have to tweak it and make it better, but you tore it back down to the foundation, to the ground. How long is it going to take to build back up, and how far are you going to go when you get there? Which I think is do
they even care?
Yes, I think they do care.
I mean, they care from the community aspect.
Yeah, I mean, I think they're too tied in emotionally, and they cared about it for too long not to care.
Right, but that's just a fandom, though. That not from a business decision.
They have many other business decisions to make that are in front of them, and many other fields.
Yeah, I mean, sure, they're going to be fans of the team, but once they sold it, they became like everybody else, right? Fans of the team. So, yeah, you want to see the team do well and all that, but I don't really understand that. Part of the deal is, does this change your opinion, or how much does it change your opinion? Who's to say it wouldn't have been better just to let Mitchell
walk?
Yeah. I mean, the world didn't end when Hayward left.
If he walked, I mean, he did sign. Now he may not sign another extension, and you're right, the world didn't end. They had to do a rebuild after Boozer and D. Will left. Boozer walked D. Will in a trade to beat him to the punch and get something back.
Yeah, which they didn't get enough.
Nope. It didn't lead to anything massive.
Everybody loved Favors because he was a nice young man, but he wasn't much of a player. I got in trouble for saying that, but it's the truth. And he was a third pick, wasn't he?
He was okay.
Okay.
He was. He was okay, and then when they hit on Gobert, they didn't need him anymore.
Yeah, he was okay, but, I mean...
They thought they didn't need him, and then somebody thought they did need him, and then they thought they didn't need him again, which goes to your point about he's okay. Otherwise, you wouldn't think you need him, you don't need him, you need him, you don't need him.
But he wasn't a star by any stretch.
No. Nope. jacked up his back. What happened?
But we'll never know. But you could argue, well, why didn't they just let it play it out?
And I've had people from the old regime say that. Jerry would have gotten him in a room and settled it. Mitchell and Gobert screaming at each other, whatever, getting mad at each other.
Yeah, but he wasn't there.
I know. But then just to give up on it because two players had a beef just struck some people who've been around the NBA a long time is not the right way to handle it. Because I don't think it was just about that. Because that was front and center, was out there and it's juicy. I think at a core level, Ainge believes in more two-way players, and Mitchell's definitely offensive-minded and isn't a big factor defensively. And Gobert is a big factor defensively, but isn't much factor offensively. And to pay them top dollar,
they were the perfect player.
But to pay them both top dollar, yeah, it comes back to the old thing here. Are you paying a player $5, $10, $15, $20 million too much?
Everybody is, except for a handful.
Exactly.
The system demands it.
It does. Because, as the Jazz will shortly be reminded here, that you're trying to put together a championship team, so the guy should be X, but someone else who's like, if we could just get to the playoffs, I could save my job and get another contract. They'll pay him 2 times X.
Yeah, well, you say so. Ainge didn't like the one-dimensional nature.
Yeah.
So let's pay Markkanen $50 million. That doesn't make any sense.
I agree with that.
Well, then he's doing it. So how much did he like it? He's the one who's deciding. He's calling the shots. And here we're giving this guy enormous amounts of money to sit on the sidelines.
Well, okay, sit on the sidelines. I still have to push back on that because I think they made him sit on the sidelines. So I don't want to blame him for their decision.
Who's blaming him? He's sitting on the sidelines. You're assigning blame. The fact is they have been paying him
to sit.
Life-changing money to sit on the sidelines. I'm not assigning blame.
Now they're going to expect him to play. And we'll see if he can, see how much he can. Is he going to be a 60-game player, a 70-game player, an 80-game player? We'll see.
Well, what I think they ought to do is bring back the statues and have them sit right next to him on the bench.
He can score it. And so to your point, the system does demand that to a degree because if you don't pay him, somebody else will.
Right.
But is he going to rebound it? Is he going to defend to get to where they want to go? Or is this like a transition piece to get him better? And the guy they draft now, whoever that is, and Ace Bailey, and those will be the pillars going forward. And by the time the championship window is really open, well, they've moved on from
but I don't know
27 and 29 years.
Yeah, maybe so, but then they'll just pay it to somebody else. The wing players, are they really going to be boarding the way you would want? Somebody's got to get close to 10 boards on his team. And Kessler is the guy. The other two have no track record of doing it consistently. They're wing guys. They're not down. They're tall wing guys.
Right.
Yeah. Offensively, this should be a beautiful team. They've got so many skilled. Whoever they draft, I don't care who it is, he's going to be skilled offensively.
Right. Boozer is skilled offensively. Dybantsa is skilled defensively. Peterson would just have to play, and then he's very skilled offensively.
Yeah. When I was talking to an ex-coach last night who just loves Peterson's game, absolutely loves him, told me, I see some Jordan in him.
Ooh. So he
wasn't talking about Poole. He was talking about Michael.
I got it. Okay. Now let's list all the other Jordans other than Michael. We knew who he was talking about. So would he take that? Was the point of that conversation that coach would take Peterson number 1?
Not necessarily, but just talking about this is a realistic possibility for Washington because this player, Peterson, is an amazing player.
I saw a thing they polled 15 of the 30 general managers, and 12 said AJ and 3 said Peterson.
And how much of that is because he took too much creatine?
Yeah. He didn't play enough games in college, so some of the 12 are going to AJ because it's a safer pick and you can't miss.
And I found out last night I have creatine in my house.
What?
Yeah. I did not know that.
Really?
And then this morning I saw it on the counter.
Yeah.
So I took a couple of gulps and I'm fired up, man. Hammies are a little tight, but I'm ready to go.
DJ and PK, when we come back, the spring football tour, the UCF Knights. Matt Murschel joins us next. Stay with us.
If the world were like a Sleep Number mattress, everything would adapt for your comfort. Because as your life changes and your body changes, Sleep Number mattresses adapt and shift to give you personalized comfort night after night. And now everything's on sale during our Memorial Day event. Save up to $1,200 on mattresses for a limited time. To experience a whole new world of comfort, visit a Sleep Number store or go to sleepnumber.com. Sleep Number, to a good life sleep.
Hey, sweetie, your mother showed me this Carvana thing for selling the car. I'm going to give it a try. Wish me luck. Me again. I put in the license plate. It gave me an offer. Unbelievable. Okay, I accepted the offer. They're picking it up Tuesday from the driveway. I haven't even left my chair. It's done. The car is gone. I'm holding a check. Anyway, Carvana, give it a whirl. Love ya.
So good, you'll want to leave a voicemail about it. Sell your car today on Carvana. Pickup fees may apply.
DJ and PK, it's 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. It is time to talk college football. Matt Murschel joins us, UCF and college football writer for the Orlando Sentinel. Matt, good morning.
Good morning. How are you guys doing today?
We are doing well. How are the UCF Knights and you doing? And is it the same, or is it different?
I think they're doing well. I mean, they just wrapped up spring camp a little later than normal, but they had a pretty good camp. They brought in 41 newcomers in year 2 of Scott Frost, and they think they've got a pretty good group here now. You know, now that Scott's had another year under his belt, they feel like they've brought in enough experience and talent that they can help them maybe make that jump up into being bowl eligible from where they were last year.
Yeah, I went and listened to his post-spring rap, and he was talking about how just more comfortable second year, and it makes sense that he would have more comfortability going into his second stint, second year. And you talk about those 41 transfers, and I'm thinking that's probably led by the quarterback from James Madison, Barnett, who was the Sun Belt Player of the Year, 2-year starter. Some decent stats, 58% on the completion, but ran for almost 600 yards. I assume he didn't follow Chesney to UCLA because they already have a quarterback established there for the Bruins, and so Barnett decides to go south to UCF. I know he was limited in spring, and Frost was talking about watching him throw, but how much of the success is going to be riding on his ability to be successful this season?
Yeah, I think a lot of it. You know, you look at the fact that he's their cornerstone piece to this transfer portal class. You know, he was the guy that they brought in early on, and they figured that would help them kind of start to add some pieces around him. Because once you've got a talented quarterback in, it's easier to convince receivers and running backs and offensive linemen, you know, to kind of sign with your team because you know, you've got a guy now who's in place and who's been to the college football playoff last year. He fits in well what UCF wants to do offensively. He can throw the football, but he's also got mobility, which allows him to, like, you know, get out of the pocket and make some plays. And the stability at quarterback is something that UCF really needed to focus on in the offseason because you look at what happened last year. They had 4 different quarterbacks who basically, you know, saw time on the field. The year before that, they had 4 different quarterbacks who saw time on the field. They need to get that stability. They need to get the number one guy out there playing the majority of the snaps. And that way, I think that would help the offense, you know, kind of do more than they would expect them to.
A wide receiver, Josh Derry, transfers in from Monmouth. How much faith do they have? Undersized, I get why he wasn't recruited heavily. He's 5'9", 182 pounds listed at. Has he proved enough, and how did he look in spring ball? Does he match up against bigger players?
Oh, yeah, he's done an amazing job in spring ball. I think every player we've spoken with has talked about Josh Derry and his abilities, you know, to make plays, to get separation from defender. You know, he's a guy that, like you said, he has a little undersized, but has found a way to still, you know, make those kind of plays. He has a playmaking ability. And then there's his work ethic. You know, this is the guy that comes into UCF. He's every morning at 6 a.m. He's in the practice field, you know, working out. And that kind of mentality has started to carry over to younger players, to other receivers on the team. Now they're joining him at 6 a.m. trying to continue to go out there and work hard and try to find a way to get better. And that's something that you want. So they feel like Derry's going to be a big piece of what they're going to do. I mean, Dwayne Thomas Jr. is still the number one guy, and Wade Charles is going to be number two. But I think Josh Derry is that third, slot receiver guy who can really kind of maybe, be impressive at times and really help them kind of, spread open the field a little bit more.
Well, Dwayne Thomas is a small guy, too. I think he's only like 5'8", but I've had enough of the small guys. I want to talk about the big guys. And you want to talk about the big guys for the UCF team. It starts, and I can almost argue it ends with Horace Lockett, doesn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, Horace Lockett's a big part of what they want to do defensively. He's the guy that steps in the tackle spot. He was banged up last year and didn't get to play most of the season. But he's a guy that they really believe can be the heart and soul of that, defensive line, especially when you think about the fact that Malachi Lawrence and Nigel Kelly, your two ends, are gone to the NFL. You need a guy to step up and be the man. And he flirted with the transfer portal during the offseason, and there was some thought that he might leave, but he decided to come back, and it's a big part of what they want to do at the line. They brought in a lot of transfers. They got a few players that they think are going to come back and be contributors, but Horace is going to be the guy in the middle, I think, that's going to be able to give them that push up front because they need to continue to carry and try to get takeaways and try to be disruptive in the backfield, and I think he's going to be a big part of that.
On college football's all-name team, I expect to find Sincere Edwards. However, he did not get to practice. There were a lot of guys held out. How are all these guys going to be back? Is Sincere going to be back? Because I love that name. And how big an impact are these guys? And if they're not there, how big a problem is it? Because the list, I'm reading a spring football story here, the list of guys held out is pretty long.
Yeah, I think some of that, these guys are expected to be back. I think some of that is, these guys were banged up coming off of last year and just needed time to get themselves back into the swing of things. Scott Frost made a really good kind of point about saying these are financial investments now. We've made investments into these players, and we can't just go throw them out there and something happens and they get banged up or hurt. Now we've lost on that investment. So I think, that's kind of the mentality they've had is yeah, sure, spring is important, but some of these guys is year 2, year 3, or whatever with the program. And, it's a chance for them to maybe rest up a little bit. They've had a lot of snaps over their careers, and it's a chance just to kind of get them rested up and get them up to speed. I think more importantly for them, it's just building that chemistry, building, what they're trying to build there with the culture. And a lot of the players we spoke with that's been a big part of that. These guys have really kind of bonded and feel like this is a good, close group.
Bringing back Lewis Carter, linebacker, leading tackler. We talked about Horace Lockett, 6'6", 355 up the middle there. I think at the linebacker spot, you'd point to Carter as being an impact player.
Yeah, Carter's another big piece of their defense bringing back. He's a guy that really, was the general out on the field, during the defense. And so he's a guy that they expect to continue to play that role. They brought some pieces around him through the transfer portal that's going to help him out. They've got a secondary that's got a lot of experience returning, a lot of returners coming back. So the secondary is going to be strong, but they need to get the middle of that defense to be just as tough as the rest of it because they're going to have to find a way to slow down Big 12 teams. And that's something that they struggle with at times. That they would get behind and then they'd have to find a way to kind of catch up. And that's not really what this team is kind of designed for. So they need guys like Carter to continue to grow and evolve. And I think that was a huge addition in the offseason. That was someone that basically they could keep having come back.
When Frost was there the first time, the pitch was, hey, this is a program that's rising. There's so much talent in Florida. Some of these guys are going to want to stay home or close to home and play, and it worked. But now it's all about NIL. Is the vibe completely different? Are the challenges? Is it almost like even though he has his old job back, he's got a brand new job?
Well, yeah, for sure. I think that was the biggest challenge that Frost faced last year was, last time he had been a head coach, transfer portal was nowhere near as competitive as it was now. And NIL wasn't nearly as bad as it is now. And neither was revenue share. So he was trying to deal with that on the fly and figure out how to get these guys to come back and want to be a part of something. He tells the story that, the moment that he gave his introductory press conference, he leaves the stage and he goes to his office, and there's two kids standing outside with their agents and basically asking him for more money. And Scott said, I don't even know who these guys were. I didn't even look at the roster to that point. Had been like, and you got guys already demanding more money. So I think they've done a good job in the off season. They added a general manager in Trent Mossberger, and they've added a couple other pieces to where they've kind of built a system in place now that'll help with the NIL, with revenue sharing, those kind of situations. So they can kind of be competitive and try to get the kind of players they need to get and fit the needs that they really need to have.
They got a pretty good tight end in Dylan Wade. I think he led the team in terms of touchdown receptions. Probably needs some more, but you can argue that he has the potential to be the leading receiver, and he's a really good player.
Yeah, Dylan Wade's going to be a big part of what they do offensively. He was the guy that they were really, when the offseason, when they were looking to try to keep some guys, we talked about Horace Lockett, but Dylan Wade was one of them. Dwayne Thomas was one of them. And to convince those guys to come back for another year, to be able to play, I think that's huge for them. They needed a safety valve, and I think Dylan kind of stepped into a larger role last year, and they feel like he's a guy that can really, he could be that X factor on the offense, and the guy that they can really rely on when maybe things, break down or you need a first down on, a 3rd and 6. He's a guy that can go out there and make that play. And I think that's going to be crucial for them. So Dylan is a guy that I think they feel like is a big part of how, if they're going to have any success this season, he needs to be around.
Frost said that other than defensive end, they're pretty clearly better at every spot. And you see the 5 wins last year, they held opponents to 14 points or less. And in 5 of the losses, they gave up 30 points or more. They lost a couple games in the 20s as well. Do you see the defense as better, and is there an impact guy who's going to make the game easier for everybody else?
Yeah, I think the defense has gotten better. I think that was been the thing that they really wanted to do. They wanted to add some pieces that they felt like could really maybe help take them to the next level. And I think that's something that they're going to need, especially on the road where they really struggled. They needed guys to really step up and make plays. And I think, where they're going to really kind of have some help is, that edge spot. I think they're going to really need some guys to step up there. Isaiah Nixon's a guy that's been around for 4 years. He's going to probably step up in that role left by Malachi Lawrence. And you mentioned Sincere Edwards. I think he's another guy that's going to step up. Ty Bartram is a name that I don't think a lot of people will recognize, but a guy from Harvard who was a captain last year that has just really kind of caught everyone, the coach's eyes, and they really think he's a guy that's going to be a big-time playmaker. He's a safety for them. That's also kind of the captain of the special teams and, really has kind of assumed that leadership role as well. And I think he's a guy that can be someone that could really step up and make some plays. And then, there's some other guys that they feel like that could step up and really be the contributors. But most of those guys, I think, are coming back.
You talk about how it's different the second time around for Frost. I would argue that the biggest difference, NIL is huge for everybody, but for this particular program, it's being in the Big 12.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, this is a big jump from going to the American to the Big 12. And Scott's had experience, obviously. He was in the Big 10 with Nebraska and understood, as a coach, kind of the challenges of playing tougher teams. But I think where that comes into more effect is, as I mentioned, is the road games. It's big on the road, going to venues, trying to find, ways to win games on the road when things are tough. And that's something that they've really struggled with, not just under Frost, but under Gus Malzahn, the previous, leadership. They struggled at times on the road. And if they can find a way to win some of those road games, I think they have a better opportunity to try to be a contender in the Big 12. But you can't go on the road and just, look like a totally different team. They've done that a couple times last year where they come off a big win and then they go on the road and look like they just forgotten every way to win. So I think that's going to be the challenge for them is trying to find ways to make sure they can be competitive on the road and win some of those games away from Orlando.
Is bowl eligibility the goal? Is that it? Do they need to compete in the conference because some people have written big checks? What is the goal for Scott Frost this year? Yeah, I think for sure they need to be bowl eligible would be a huge step for them. I think if they could get to 7 wins, 7 or 8 wins, that would be big. Now, every player we spoke with obviously is telling us they want to win the Big 12 championship. But is that likely? I mean, it just depends on if this team can bond. I think they've got to take steps, and I think the next step is to be bowl eligible and get to 7 or 8 wins, and then you can kind of see where you can kind of build some momentum off that. If they don't do that, if they struggle, if they, finish 5 and 7 again or worse, I think then the pressure starts to mount a little bit for Scott because, it's the idea that, listen, yes, you had lightning, you caught lightning in a bottle, so to speak, when you won in 2017, but you're going to have to find a way to do that now, and you got to find a way to be better at it. And he's got the tools now. There shouldn't be any reason why they can't. Well, man, we appreciate a few minutes. Thanks for joining us, and we will keep our eye on UCF.
All right. Thanks a lot, guys.
Matt Murschel joining us, UCF and college football writer for the Orlando Sentinel. BYU is at UCF October 24th. Utah and Texas Tech miss UCF, so Houston is their big road game. They're largely playing teams who were in the bottom of the league last year. Some of those teams might bounce back, but the door is open for those guys.
It's flung right open. Everybody sinking bowl eligibility. I can remember being down in Vegas at the Mountain West Conference Media in the time where the Mexico Lobos were just awful, and I think they were 1-11, and me and Ben Bagley were doing the show, and right to our left was the New Mexico people. Mm-hmm. You would have thought it was a friggin' Ohio State, man.
Every time you take your headsets off and listen, they're just pumping them up, man. Here come the Lobos, look out.
Oh, bowl eligibility, yeah, I don't know. They're a contender. I'm like, guys, man, no.
UCF went 3-0 in non-conference last year, then 2-7 in the league and missed the bowl eligible. And one of their 2 wins was Oklahoma State, which was obviously a complete disaster. And they get to play Oklahoma State for one of their 4 road games.
Yeah, but Oklahoma State has gotten a huge influx of transfers.
Of North Texas guys.
And a lot of programs, including the Hammer, has picked them in the top half of the conference.
To be bowl eligible.
The Hammer.
The Hammer. That's PK's nickname for John Wilner at the San Jose Mercury News, if you're not following along.
Well, you're right, for KSL.com. What do you mean the San Jose Mercury News?
I believe it's
KSL.com.
It is syndicated here.
That's what nobody cares that he writes for the San Jose. It's KSL.com. Uh-huh. Okay. That's where he writes. We're localizing it. And they pick it up. But the Hammer's high on Oklahoma State.
All right.
Yeah.
They brought in the coach from North Texas and a lot of players.
And their
North
quarterback,
Texas had a good team,
they're looking at him as an NFL guy. So that there's been other teams that have had dramatic turnarounds. So I wouldn't look at Oklahoma State as some patsy as they have been the last couple of years, bizarrely.
Should be time for a bounce back.
Yeah.
All right, DJ PK, we got to take a break. Bob Casper is coming up next to talk PGA Championship. We will do our draft. And speaking of the PGA Championship, caller 12 at 801-575-ZONE will be assigned a golfer in the PGA Championship this week. We're assigning listeners one of the top 25 players in the world, and one listener will be assigned the field. The winner will receive a Copper Rock logo golf bag and a $100 gas gift card. Call now. Caller 12 will be assigned a golfer. It's all brought to you by Copper Rock, where the pros play. Bob Casper is next. Kristen Peak at 9 o'clock. From NBA.com and Hoops HQ contributor, and she'll be talking NBA draft and AJ Dybantsa. Stay with us.
Ready or not, summer is coming, and Wayfair's Memorial Day clearance is on now. Right now through May 25th, get up to 70% off everything home at Wayfair. Plus, score amazing doorbuster deals all sale long and surprise flash deals on Memorial Day. We're talking thousands of products at every style and budget. Now is the time to save big on must-haves for your patio, backyard, and beyond. These savings won't last, so don't wait. Shop Wayfair's Memorial Day clearance now through May 25th.
Wayfair, every style, every home.
This podcast is sponsored by Talkspace. May is Mental Health Awareness Month, and Talkspace, the leading virtual therapy provider, is sharing the message that connection is crucial because good relationships are an essential and sometimes overlooked component of mental well-being. If your relationships could use some strengthening, a licensed therapist from Talkspace can help. Therapy can help you communicate better with loved ones, repair conflicts, and understand how to address loneliness and build community. It's easy to sign up. Just go to Talkspace.com and you'll be paired with a therapist within 2 days. You'll meet with your therapist online on your schedule. Plus, Talkspace is in-network with most major insurers, and most insured members have a $0 copay. Make personal connections a priority and start today. If you're not covered by insurance, get $80 off your first month with Talkspace when you go to Talkspace.com and enter promo code SPACE80. That's SPACE80. To match with a licensed therapist today, go to Talkspace.com and enter promo code SPACE80.
I drive my bus in a busy city. That's why road safety is so important to me. I know that I must slow down and be extra careful when I make a wide turn. Buses need more room than cars. Everyone can help keep our roads safe. Next time you're driving, remember to give buses plenty of time and space to finish turning before driving ahead. Let's all plan to share the road safely. Learn how at www.sharetheroadsafely.gov.
Make game day yours. Tickets, food and drinks, stats, and streaming. Everything you need is in the Utah Mammoth app. Download today and make game night easy. Download on both Android and iPhone. Tusk Top.
I sold my car in Carvana last night.
Well, that's cool.
No, you don't understand. It went perfectly. Real offer, down to the penny. They're picking it up tomorrow. Nothing went wrong.
So, what's the problem?
That is the problem. Nothing in my life goes as smoothly. I'm waiting for the catch.
Maybe there's no catch.
That's exactly what a catch would want me to think.
Wow, you need to relax.
I need to knock on wood. Do we have wood? Is this table wood?
I think it's laminate.
Okay, yeah, that's good. That's close enough.
Car selling without a catch. Sell your car today on
Carvana.
Pickup fees may apply.
DJ and PK brought to you in part by Sound Sleep Medical. Get a free sleep screening and consultation when Scotty G and the coach broadcast live from Sound Sleep tomorrow. Visit Sound Sleep Medical with 6 convenient locations across Utah and start sleeping better today. Free screening and consultation. Okay. Thanks for that.
You told me to sleep better. Listen to what you tell me.
You do need to work on that. All right, DJ and PK, it is time to talk PGA Championship with Bob Casper.
The PGA Championship Update is presented by Copper Rock, where the pros play on 97.5 The KSL Sports Zone.
Bob, good morning.
Hello, boys. How you doing?
We're doing well. Hopefully we'll be doing better when we do our draft here in a few minutes than we did at the Masters, where we all whiffed on Rory McIlroy because none of us thought he could win it back-to-back years, and he did. Oops. Looking for a little better performance here at the PGA Championship. Let's start with the course they're competing at. I looked it up because I was not familiar with it. It turns out there have been some big tournaments there. Not in a while. It's not exactly on the front burner, but it's not unknown either. What is distinctive about this place, which I can't pronounce? Aronimink?
Aronimink,
okay.
Yeah. It's kind of a silent N.
Apparently.
Aronimink.
All right, Aronimink.
Yeah. So it's a great golf course. They've extended it out to 7,400 yards. It's amazing in that you have a lot of options off the tee to be able to get different clubs as far as driver or irons, kind of getting yourself into position. But the golf course really shapes up to a second shot players course. And so it's It's amazing. The greens have a lot of slope and a lot of undulation. It's very reminiscent of Augusta National. But the second shots into the greens are primarily what's going to be important for a lot of players on this golf course. Also, there's a lot of complexes as far as bunkering is concerned on the golf course. And so when I was talking about being in the right position off the tee, a lot of guys can hit it over those, like Rory and some of the other guys that hit a long way. That gives them a lot shorter shots in the greens. So some people are going to have to lay up the back a little bit further, and some are going to take advantage of their length. So 173 bunkers on this golf course, and it's going to be a great test.
Jordan Spieth is in a unique situation. You know, you ask him one more tournament to win, you win one more, he would choose the PGA because he lacks that. And you look at it, and it's very similar to Rory. They won a lot early, and then it's been a big drought. And then Rory obviously got his last year and gets another one this year. What do you think about Jordan, who is sort of out there but really hasn't made a name for himself to follow up what he had been doing about a decade ago?
Well, you know, that's kind of interesting is that Jordan Spieth does have a chance to get the Career Grand Slam, just as Scotty Scheffler had a chance to get it the next major championship at the U.S. Open.
Yeah.
Jordan Spieth has not played great. He's shown some good play so far this year, but doesn't have a top 10. So, you know, is he going to resurrect his game from a decade ago and be able to have an opportunity to win this week? I don't know that. But the great thing about Jordan Spieth is he has the opportunity to do this for the rest of his career on the PGA Tour. And one of these weeks, if it's this week or not, one of these weeks, he's going to have an opportunity and get himself into contention and have an opportunity to close it out and get a PGA championship.
This is the week, and you're going to pick him number one, aren't you? You're just sandbagging right now. I can see it.
Number one?
Oh, yeah. You have total faith in him, don't you?
Spieth you're talking about?
Oh,
no,
absolutely.
I'm not going to pick him number one.
No.
Sneaky third pick then. You're sandbagging.
Everybody's doubting him. I can relate to Jordan. Everybody's doubting him. Nobody believes in him. He's a bum. That's what they think of me.
Not at all.
There was a time that the PGA was famous for basically unheard of guys or guys who hadn't been playing well, got it together and won it.
First timers, yeah.
Yeah, and Spieth, to a certain degree, fits that, right? He wouldn't be a first-timer because he won, but it's a decade ago, so there's a certain parallel there. But lately, the players who've won, they've largely been pretty high up in the official world golf rankings, and he's not. So do you view that, and especially the way the course sets up and the way the tour is going right now, does it have to be somebody who's elite in this tournament? Because that is largely how it's been going lately.
Well, I think the elite guys are definitely going to have a better chance of it. But Jordan is one of the things he prides himself on is his short game and his putting. And Jordan will do well on these greens just because of the opportunity that he's going to have to make putts, what he's going to be able to do around the greens. And then he is a great shot maker for second shots. So I think that's going to help him out quite a bit.
Why is the career Grand Slam such a big deal as opposed to if I told Jordan, hey, you could win this or you could win 3 more Masters, it seems like he would take this?
Well, it's an exclusive club. There's only 6 guys that have done the career Grand Slam ever. And not even Arnold Palmer did it. So it's kind of the holy grail. As far as players are concerned, to get the career Grand Slam, it means that you've played well in each one of the majors and that you've had an opportunity to win and play against the best fields and win each one of the majors. And so, yeah, he would like to win 3 more Masters, no doubt about it. You know, he's got 1 under his belt right now, but this is the one that he wants to get. And you saw Rory McIlroy last year when he finally clipped off the last one at the Masters, how he fell to his knees and kind of emotionally broke down. it means a lot to these guys. And to finally get it, Rory, then, it's just a huge milestone. So I think he would take this one first, and then he'd probably try to clip off the next 3 with the Masters.
Is it just that whole notion of these championships and the courses? I mean, the U.S. Open course is very different than the Open Championship and a link-style course, and the Masters is different than both of them. So it's just showing off what a complete game you have.
Yeah, it is. And each one of them has their different abilities. I mean, at Augusta, you need more of an all-around game. You need to putt well. You need to pitch well. All that kind of thing. U.S. Open, you want to hit fairways and you want to hit greens, and you're not going to be making a ton of birdies. But it's a golf tournament where they're trying to not only get you to get all your 14 clubs dirty, but they're trying to mentally tax you with your gray matter in between your ears. An Open Championship, you just try to survive the elements because that's what keeps scores lower or higher, because when the elements and the wind and everything is happening there on link style type of golf courses, that's what makes the golf tournament more difficult. When there's no wind, those guys play really, really well over there. And then a PGA Championship, it's kind of an adaptation of all of the U.S. Open and the Masters, in that it still tests your game depending on where they're competing at, but it's a little bit easier on the mental psyche to be able to win a major. Even and having said that, majors are tough playing against the best players in the world. So it's just one of the top 4, and it's a great one to have a feather in your cap.
You talk about getting your 14 clubs dirty. What I noticed watching the Truist last week was, man, these guys look like they have brand new shoes every time they play. Is there a requirement? Because those things are shiny.
Well, I don't know that they're brand new. They may have worn them a few rounds or something like that, but I always found when I put on a brand new pair of shoes, I got blisters. So everybody's wearing the best stuff that each one of their sponsors is putting out there, and they color coordinate their outfits and their shoes and everything. It's all planned for them that they're going to wear these certain outfits these certain days, and so. It doesn't surprise me that their shoes look that new.
All right, let's get to it, Bob. It's time for our draft. Who do you want to take? Now, we've got the new rule this year that you can't draft somebody in multiple tournaments, and you took Cameron Young, Bryson DeChambeau, and you also took Gutterup last time with the Masters. We talked about this, Bob. You know this. Don't go, what?
No, wait a second. I'm looking at the draft that you sent out to us.
Yeah.
I took Rory, Colin Morikawa, and Sepp Straka.
No, you didn't.
Did not.
Not in 2026. You took Cam Young, and I was going to take Cam Young. You're a cheater, man.
List,
You're freaking Patrick Reed. That's who you are.
Oh.
Okay, so I took Cameron Young. Who did I take again?
DeChambeau and Gutterup.
Cameron Young, DeChambeau, and Gutterup.
Yes, and we have the regional assignments, which is I'm still getting the short end of the stick. I got Brooks Koepka because I'm skinny now, apparently. John Rahm
no,
for
you're
PK.
buff.
Yeah, that's right. And Xander Schauffele for you. So because
we can change him up.
Well,
I'm Irish. I got Rory.
I'm going to take Roars this one.
You're taking Rory out of the gate.
I'm taking Rory.
All right.
Number 1.
Well, then I'll take Cam.
Oh, you fetcher.
All right, PK, who do you want?
Well, now I got to regroup.
You got to regroup with Rory and Cam gone.
Oh, my gosh. I'm going to go Fleetwood. I'm going all foreign this time. Yeah, I'm going all foreign. I just decided.
Okay.
I almost wrote.
Then
Nick,
I'm going to
I almost typed
John
down.
Rahm.
No, John Rahm's his regional pick. You can't have Rahm.
Dang it.
I almost put down Mick Fleetwood. I always do that. Tommy, I got it right. Thank you.
Say women. They will come and they will go.
Just mess that up.
I'm going to take J.J. Spawn.
J.J. Spawn.
Warren Spawn's a better pick. He had one shot in the dark.
Warren Spawn, listen to you.
Do people even know who that is?
Some old-time pitcher. Well, like 900 games.
Left-handed, left-handed.
He threw left.
Did he pitch
from
like the 30s to the 50s or something?
Yeah, I mean, you're classic. Anybody know who it is? And then you name 5 things about him. You're a nerd.
Well, I know. That's why I said, does anybody else know? I didn't say I didn't know. You take J.J. Spawn. All right, then I am going to go Matty Fitz.
Oh, I said I was taking all foreign.
You took Matt Fitzpatrick round 1 of the Masters. You can't take him, so stop your whining.
You got me there.
Take his brother.
You know, I thought about taking Big Al. And you were so against him being able to do it, and then look, he almost won the thing last week. Come on, Bob,
I know,
get off your high horse.
How about him? How about that guy? He wins with his brother.
Yeah.
Then he finishes 9th at Doral, finishes 4th last week. He's made almost $3 million now on the PGA Tour.
And you didn't even think he should be there. You thought it was unfair. He was just riding his brother's coattails. You thought it.
I did.
Are you taking Big Al?
I thought it.
Yes. Welcome to my world, Bob.
Okay.
Welcome to my world.
Who you taking?
Justin Rose.
Oh, I already typed in Big Al.
That's a good pick because he won there in 2010.
I told you I'm going all foreign.
Okay, and then I'm gonna follow up with Spieth.
You are taking him. I knew you were sandbagging.
Yeah,
I knew it.
You said my third pick.
I knew you were
sandbagging. He did call it. He said it.
Yeah. Bum, bum, bum.
Come on, DJ.
Yeah, I'm growing old here.
I'm thinking about whether I should use him now, but I think I'm going to hold on to him.
Go ahead. You want Scheffler.
I was thinking I'm going to pick him off in the 3rd round.
Well, I get first pick at the U.S. Open.
Come on.
And he's a lock for number 1.
Oh, yes. You better take him now. Take him now. Come on.
Hey,
he's playing well. Hey, DJ.
Yeah.
DJ, here's a stat for you. His last 3 events, he has finished second.
Yeah, I know.
And that hasn't been done since 2014.
I don't know. I just got a bad feeling. I don't know what it is.
You got a bad feeling about Scheffler?
I do. I don't know what it is.
Well, what about Meredith and Bennett? How do you think they feel?
Meredith and Bennett. I'm going to go with Morikawa. I'm going to go call him Morikawa.
Really? He's had a hurt back all year.
Yeah, but he's getting healthier. And he's played well with the hurt back.
Okay.
Third round is for a flyer. Third round's for a flyer. I'm taking a flyer. You took Spieth. We're taking flyers here, Bob.
Yep, that's right.
I'll go Oberg.
There you go. I knew that one was coming.
Wait, who did you take? Yak was talking to me. I couldn't hear.
Oberg.
Oh, Ludwig.
I said I go all foreign.
Okay.
I'm getting the guy who lives in Oklahoma City. He's all foreign. Or Stillwater, I guess.
Hey, that Oklahoma State Cowboys is a legend.
You took 2 guys I've taken a lot, and they've been close, but they've never done it for me, in Ludwig and Justin Rose. I've picked them so many times, and they're going to come through for you. I can feel it.
Justin Rose getting up there in age, but what the heck?
I know, but I had him at the Masters a year ago, and he finished second. He was right there.
You could taste it.
Are you saying he's long in the teeth?
He is old by PGA Tour standards.
Oh, yeah. Was he 45?
Yeah. But he's playing really well. He's always in the mix.
Oh, he's playing great
He's
golf.
playing great. Yeah.
All
right, there we go, Bob. Are you taking off to go? Or are you going to sit one out for once?
I'm sitting one out. BT's going back.
Oh, okay. All right.
But we'll both be at the U.S. Open.
There you go. All right, Bob, well, we appreciate it. Bob Casper and Brian Taylor's appearances all week long are brought to you by Mountain America Credit Union, Mountainland Supply, Black Desert Resort, Hoops Vision, and Uinta Golf. Bob and Brian will be on every show all week long, updating us on the PGA Championship. DJ and PK, it's 97.5 the KSL Sports, and we got to take a break. Top of the hour, talking to Kristen Peak, NBA.com, and Hoops headquarters contributor. Stay with us, DJ and PK, it's 97.5 the KSL Sports Zone.
3, 2, 1. This is Scotty G and Coach Tim LaCombe.
Why is BYU not coming to Logan? It's great that they're playing BYU, but why is there no return trip? Getting this rivalry just on the books in some way, shape, or form is huge. For Utah State, they need quad one games. In the landscape of college basketball, it would not surprise me one bit if Utah State called up Kentucky or called up Kansas. And I wouldn't surprise me one bit if Kentucky's like, sure, hold please, click, Kansas, click, because I don't think these teams are interested in building other teams' resumes, especially G5 resumes.
The bottom line is the power schools have always and definitely currently hold the cards. For BYU to work with Utah State and get 2 dates on the calendar in today's basketball world, I mean, it's definitely a win. It's a win for both. It's a win for the state. I wish last year they were on the schedule.
Catch Scotty G and Coach weekdays from 10 to 2. Presented by Mountain Land Supply on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Join Scotty G and the Coach, Tim LaCombe, Friday from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. at Tim Dolly Mazda at 10785 South Auto Mall Drive in Sandy. We're going to talk with Kristen Peak coming up in our next segment, NBA.com and Hoops HQ contributor about the draft. Now, with the lottery coming out Sunday, there's been a lot of analysis. You seen anything that catches your eye about this? Any info you see, hot takes, analysis that you start leaning some way?
In terms of just pure talent, and pure is a big word in our community because that's how we rationalize Stockton over Magic, right? I think that there's a growing sentiment that Darren Peterson is the best pure talent. And I think a lot of it is just the fluid nature when you watch him. So smooth. And his shot.
Effortless. When he's got it going, it's easy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well said. And I think that's growing in that direction. But, you don't want to go too much for fit as opposed to best player. But you have to factor in fit a little bit.
Why?
Because, for Washington, they got Trae Young.
Yep.
And Trae Young has the ball in his hands, shoots a ton, has never won anything, shoots a ton, and so does Darren Peterson become a little neutered. Now, you made the big trade to get Young, and so now you're going to ask Young to take a back seat to this 19, 20-year-old? So I'm trying to think of what Washington would be thinking. So I don't think you can totally ignore fit. You just can't blow it off and say, no, we're going who we think is, and a lot of it, too, is potential. What I'm talking about right now is Darren Peterson might be the best pure talent today, but where's it going to be at 25? And if Dybantsa improves on his perimeter shooting, which I think he can, especially another guy I was talking to, you look what Dybantsa did last year. Just take the Texas game, for instance, right? I'm sitting there courtside. I mean, he's only got one other guy who's a 6-footer, who's any threat whatsoever, any threat. And Dybantsa still goes for 35. They asked Sean Miller in his walk-off interview, what are you going to do to get Dybantsa under control? And he says, I don't think we can. He's giving up. Now, they were able to say that with a level of confidence we can still win the game because the other portions of the team are so weak that you can withstand his onslaught. But he's able to get 35 relatively easily. He's only 1 for 9 from 3 in that game with very little help from anybody else. So that says something there. And Dybantsa seems like he's a fit anywhere. But if you think Peterson is the best player, but you got Young over here, and he's going to dominate the ball, are you better off going with Dybantsa and rebuffing all the Jazz offers? Because I think when it comes down to it, I can't quite go Godfather and say the Jazz will make an offer that the Wizards can't refuse, but I believe they'll come really close. And if they want to, they can.
Well, yes, they've got enough assets. You're right. If they want to, they can. Now, it could be the point just overpaying and they just totally lopsided deal. And that's what you were thinking yesterday when you immediately put 4 players on hold. Nope. Don't even think about it.
That's today. Check back in 3 weeks.
See, the thing is, we can talk about this all, but I just can't believe anything. Everybody needs a deadline. Nothing happens quickly. It's a poker game.
All right, but I still left 3 weeks to go.
Yeah.
So, yeah, this thing will be developing. And if you want a little nugget, there were so many teams that came out to Provo to watch Dybantsa in person, and the Wizards GM never made it to Provo. Now, of course, the number one team who saw Dybantsa play the most.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, we know who they are. It's just a drive. And I don't know, does DA live down there? He may be a shorter drive since he hangs out, has his own locker at Riverside. I don't have my own locker at Riverside.
He does live in Provo.
Yeah, he lives in. So I mean, it's why wouldn't you go to those games? It's a lot closer than driving up here all the way. So and you're a fan of the team, and that's your alma mater, and plus you're working there because you're bringing in players in the Big 12 that you need to see anyway. So it makes sense. This is the most intriguing draft in Jazz history. Don't even think of arguing. Don't even try.
I was going back to the 80s.
No. Because you don't necessarily decide. You don't get to decide one player. But then you have to make a big time decision. Before, when you were drafting the statues, other teams made stupid decisions, and so then you just took who's available. That's not going to be the case. Plus, if you want to make an offer they can't refuse, you can. And you can get number one. And if Dybantsa wants to go number one, it's such a big deal, then just have the Wizards draft him number one and trade him. You were drafted number one. Everybody's happy.
DJ PK, it's 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Well, Kristen's got to reschedule. She's at the NBA Combine. She's got to do an interview, so Yak will reschedule her. DJ PK, more in a moment, right here on The Zone.
I sold my car in Carvana last night.
Well, that's cool.
No, you don't understand. It went perfectly. Real offer, down to the penny. They're picking it up tomorrow. Nothing went wrong.
So, what's the problem?
That is the problem. Nothing in my life goes as smoothly. I'm waiting for the catch.
Maybe there's no catch.
That's exactly what a catch would want me to think.
Wow, you need to relax.
I need to knock on wood. Do we have wood? Is this table wood?
I think it's laminate.
Okay, yeah, that's good. That's close enough.
Car selling without a catch. Sell your car today on Carvana. Pickup fees may apply.
It's going to be a lot of fun for these next 6 weeks to speculate on what the Jazz are going to do.
I was going to say, while you're standing there along the ropes, watching the next generation of players do their thing, how much Jazz talk do you think there'll be?
People are into it, man. And this is so intriguing. Because if you draft even fifth, you end up taking who the other guys don't take. Well, that's not the case this year.
No.
You can literally take whoever you want if you want to make an offer good enough to Washington. And even if you don't, if you just sit tight, then you have decisions, man. You've got a decision. And knowing that this could alter your franchise for the next decade, and that's right out of Austin Ainge's mouth, not mine, but it's obvious. We all know it. And so I'm not overhyping the thing because I don't know that you can overhype it. That's how big of a deal it is. And they can get a big-time player. I'm thinking right now, if Washington says, we're taking AJ, and I was listening to Andy Katz the other day, a longtime acquaintance of mine back when he covered the New Mexico Lobos back in the 90s. We're going way back. I've known that guy for a long time. And he's thinking, I think when it comes down to it, they're going to take Dybantsa. And if that's the case, I think the Jazz are going to take Peterson.
Go with the obvious talent and the upside. Don't worry about the negativity.
Well, you got to do your homework, and you've got plenty of time to do. You can go back to his kindergarten teachers if you wanted. You've got enough time.
And I've seen one of those stories, and all those people, it was done in the middle of the college season when him sitting out either entire games or pulling himself out midway through a game, it had become a big storyline.
It had been,
and all the people in his past that they quoted, yeah, he did, but all the people who knew him in his past quoted like, this isn't him, I don't get it, this is not who he is, this is totally stunning to me, I got no insight for you, I would have never predicted this. That was the gist of all the quotes. I found it really interesting that it was so completely different, which maybe puts credibility to the creatine thing, which I know is a little bit of an eyebrow raise, and it may simply be the product, because the product goes back to baseball in the 90s and McGuire and the home run chase that turned out to be driven by steroids and creatine.
Yeah, I think MLB had to check and see if that was legal or not.
Yeah. There was a whole thing. And so just merely using that word can raise eyebrows.
Yeah. You can buy it over the counter.
I know.
Go to any store and get it.
Right, but there's lots of stuff that's banned in the world of sports. It's just over the counter, and quote-unquote regular people like us use it.
It wasn't like fertility pills or something?
Yeah, that was something. And nasal sprays that help you when you're having problems breathing have a bit of a stimulant in them, so it's banned. And I think Olympians have been banned from races because of it and that kind of stuff. So there's a lot of stuff that isn't... It's normal to us in everyday life, but it's out of bounds in sports. So I think just the point of all of that is they do have to do that homework. And I think I have a pretty good idea what they're going to hear. And I think it's going to encourage whoever hears it, because everybody will be getting this, right? So if they were to end up to trade the pick, and I think everybody's going to hear the same thing about Peterson, whether they have a chance to draft him or not, because they're all going to do that homework. And I expect that the articles seem pretty thorough. They seem to talk to a bunch of people. And maybe they didn't talk to somebody who has a different story that will shed light on it.
And the Jazz will. They'll do it. They'll do whatever it takes.
But I think the gist of what they're going to hear is that was a one-off, and it doesn't line up with everything that everybody else who dealt with him for 18 years knows about the player.
I want to hear what Bill Self says off the record.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And what the assistant coaches have.
Yes, you took the words right out of my mouth.
What the Kansas teammates have to say.
Yes. And now that the staffs are so big, there's so many people around the program.
Yeah.
And let's hear from all of them.
Right.
I mean, the worst draft pick.
Sports information people have to say.
Yes. Beat writers who covered him.
On and on.
Yeah, the radio broadcasters who are around. Everybody.
Yeah. And then
everything matters because it's such a major investment.
They're going to be busy. And then if the Jazz don't take him, then Memphis has to answer the question, and whoever which was the Ace Bailey thing until the Jazz took him.
Yeah, and if the Jazz are looking at somebody else and they're talking to people about trading back a spot or two, whoever they're talking with, Memphis, Chicago.
Yeah, he's so smooth, and I would be ecstatic if they got him, and they've answered the questions, because if they take him, then they've answered the questions. Because he is a smooth player, and just think about it, man. Smooth jazz. Huh?
That's it. You're building another marketing campaign.
Yeah, I am. We got the smooth jazz.
We got 6 weeks here, so we need you to build a marketing campaign for all of the players that they might draft. I mean, it's at least 3, but arguably it could be 4 or 5.
I think it's only 3.
I think so, too. But I didn't think Ace Bailey was falling to 5th. Crazy things happen. And somebody sees somebody else. And another time they were up high when the Jazz drafted 5th and they took Dante Exum. He was supposed to be top 4, and then somebody was Aaron Gordon. All of a sudden was in the top 4. And so then Dante falls to them.
Well, which I wish wouldn't have happened.
I get that. I totally understand that. There's a long line of Jazz fans right behind you.
And I get he was injured, but so what?
I know. You don't want to draft the injury-prone player.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I mean, maybe...
And there's probably an injury-prone player in all these...
They didn't know it, but nevertheless, it's unfortunate for the young man.
The silver line to him was Joe Ingles.
Jazz fans just want to win.
There was a little bit of we like him, we're intrigued by him, but he's an Australian, and we need to invest in this guy, and then who knew?
And Joe ends up being a far more productive player.
Far more, yeah.
Yeah, and puts together a 12-year career, and then was durable during his time here, played just about every game. So, yeah, you never know what's going to happen there. But I think that you can only go by what you assume at this point, and I think it's a 3-horse race. they make the move to get Dybantsa, and then they either draft Peterson or Cam. And clearly, you don't need to spend $16 on beer because we got our booze right here.
Aha! 2 down, 1 to go. Which is odd. You have more time to work on AJ. You got nothing there yet.
No, AJ speaks for itself, man.
Yeah. There's no chance they're going to love Caleb so much or Acuff so much that they trade back to get one of those guys.
Well, but I'm not saying I'm against. I don't know about that, but I'm saying right now. I'm going under the assumption things stay the same. That will be a storyline to develop. Yes, there are chances that those things could happen, but just right now, we're still in the baby stage.
And the most likely thing is staying put and taking whoever's on the board. These trades are hard to organize and hard to pull off. Any of them could happen. We can speculate. There's a chance. But the most likely outcome is that people stay put and draft. That is, in the history of draft, always the most likely outcome. And obviously, there have been big trades.
And we're not even a week into it until since the lottery order has been settled. So, but there's all sorts of intrigue that those things can happen. I think just instinct-wise, without having any particular knowledge, that to me it's more likely they trade up than down.
I see your logic. To be super intriguing, and the only way to get AJ may be to trade up.
Yeah.
But the only thing that does it is because Danny's done it before.
Right,
and
it's out there. It's out there.
Austin, I mean, it's really early to decide anything. He's just barely getting starting here. But if you had to bet, you would bet he would be bold and that he would not go with the group think. And that at some point in his career, maybe it's next month, but at some point he's going to do something. People are going to scratch his head. Everybody's going to scratch their head and go, well, what do you do that for? And then we're going to go to a press conference, and Austin is going to tell you, I did it because I believe in X. I mean, whoever it is, I don't know. At some point, he's going to do that. I expect that out of him. I'm pretty sure you do, too.
A guy that I've also known for a long time, Fran Fraschilla, when he was the New Mexico coach, and I was beat writer, he has a thing he calls, there's all these analytics and blah, blah, blah. He calls it not eye test. He calls it eye educated. And so we all have eye tests, right? But he wants eye
That's
educated.
What you're talking about with Peterson, the eye test. Yeah. It's like when the college game looks so easy for him, you think, well, he's got to be a great pro. Look how easy this is for him.
But
Which he was on, it was easy. So why eye educated? What does he mean by that?
Because that means you have the education, you have the knowledge to be able to put yourself in the position have the evaluation with the eye. We don't have that. I don't have that. I've watched tons of ball.
So are you talking his education based on his years and decades of experience in the game, or is he talking about
everything?
The education based on the homework they do, the deep dives?
Both.
Okay.
Both.
All right.
Yeah.
I haven't heard him use it, so I don't know.
It's a
I'm just trying to figure
full
it out.
compliment term there.
Yeah.
You've been in the business for 20, 30 years. You've watched enough hoop. You know what works because you've studied the game. We've done that.
Right.
We're not going to
really
do the research.
I'm
not going to go talk to the high school coach. We should.
We could even do something like that, but we don't have the access to hire the private eye and do the deep background, right? And they do.
Well,
if
you want me to be gone for a couple weeks.
And we can talk to one or two people around them.
I've spied on people.
And that's great, but they're going to talk to dozens.
Yeah.
And we're not going to have access to them.
I think that's when he says eye educated. I think that's what he's talking about.
And here's another thing they're going to get that we don't get. They literally get the interviews and to sit down with them. And we're not going to get that access. We're not going to get that.
Or 2-on-1,
and you talk to all the people who've done it over the years for the Jazz, and they find it very valuable. They're hilarious things that have happened in those interviews that have been very telling.
You've got to. Well, the skill's there. And plus, at the Combine, these guys aren't going to go out there and play anyway.
Yeah.
Top guys don't play.
No, they're there to do the interviews.
Right, and your measurements and the wingspans and blah, blah, blah. But they can't risk going out and actually playing a game and blowing out your knee. Are you kidding me? There's just no way. There's millions of dollars
That's for people who are trying to make the second round.
Or
maybe a second rounder trying to elevate to the first.
Yeah.
But more and more, lots of people are pulling their name out of
not the top 2 or 3, 5.
Yeah, and this year I think it'll be
no way.
Even more.
No, way too much risk.
I'd love to see a list of how many first-rounders play this year.
Well, we'd have to see what the first-rounders are when it's done.
Right, yeah, I know.
Did they play?
Right, you'd have to compare it.
I think Jimmer played, and he was a top 10, so but this level won't.
This is different.
It is
top 10
different,
this
yeah,
year.
and there's literally millions of dollars at stake. Everybody understands that, I should say. And so with that in mind, that's what you're going to have here. I still think, my gut wants to say that AJ is going to be here. Because I think it's easier. It's not that complicated to get done. You only got one team, and all his dad, Ace, just goes, we want to be out there. We don't want to play here.
Which commonly happens.
Yeah.
Commonly.
So you got to say that.
Yeah.
And it's only one team.
Ace Bailey last
And you're going to get a stud.
Ace Bailey last year. Donovan Mitchell when he was here. It happens all the time.
It's not like it's a significant blow. It's like, well, you're still going to get a stud.
Yeah.
And you may even get a better player or better fit. Who knows who it could be? You know? I mean, maybe Washington looks at, hey, we got Boozer, man. We're going to get a low post scorer. And we can count on him. Anthony Davis, yeah, he's getting older. He's injury prone. We want somebody that we can give him the ball and he can get us a bucket for the next decade. That sounds pretty good.
That's why people were tanking this year, because all this stuff sounds good.
Yeah. So it doesn't have to be nasty. It doesn't have to be dirty. It doesn't have to be Eli Manning, John Elway, some of these guys that just refuse to do
those
it.
went public, and that just seems to blow it up and make it uglier.
Plus, that's a quarterback, and so you can go
the
get
most important position in team
right.
sports.
You can get the best offensive tackle, but it's not quarterback. Well, here is one position really that much more important than the other in basketball? If you got a superstar, you're going to take that player at that position, irregardless of the position he plays, versus a really good player at another position. That other position isn't more important than this position.
In different eras, the most important position has been Magic at the point, or Larry at forward, or Jordan on the wing.
Or the big man was,
or
when we were growing up,
LeBron.
the big man was where he's
There's
at.
a handful of centers.
Why Portland drafted Sam Bowie ahead of Jordan.
Because they were trying to get Shaq or Kareem.
And those guys, they're still important, but the game is just dramatically different. And so you need players. I agree with Kevin Young, the holy grail of shot making.
That's what they give you points for.
And
everything else is to get a better advantage there.
30 years ago, does an Anthony Edwards go number one?
30 years ago? I'd have to look at all the number ones. I mean, there was a much more of an emphasis on the big man then.
Right.
But there wasn't always a big man, so sometimes somebody else would get number one.
Understood, but I'm still talking number one.
Yeah, probably not. There was probably a big man somebody would reach for 30 years ago. I mean, Jordan didn't go number one.
Olajuwon Bowie. That's 40 years ago.
Right, but Jordan didn't go number one. Yeah. Kobe didn't go number one.
Yeah, he's a high school kid, though.
Yeah. But 10 years later, LeBron does go number one as a high school kid.
Yeah, but he's a big man. He's not Superman.
He is Superman. I mean, he is, but he's not.
He's
a center.
everything.
But the game's moving away. The game's moving away from the center position.
How about this? Does LeBron go number one today?
Yeah, he does.
Today? He's 41.
Oh, I think he did. Is it after 9 o'clock, Yak?
The long build up to that one.
Yeah, LeBron goes number one virtually any time because he's that unicorn player. What do you need? Okay, I'll go do it. I mean, maybe he's done. I'd actually like to see him retire. He didn't go out on top team-wise, but his game is still
individually
high
is a very impressive year. Very impressive.
If you got a fifth title, okay, great. But I don't want to tell somebody don't do something that you love. Yeah, it's easy for me to say. But
even if they have gazillions, you still won't take money away from them because that's your other go-to line.
He supersedes that. I think that's more of the...
I do think it'd be a great story for the NBA if he went to Cleveland next year and he wrapped up his career there and tried to push them over the top. That'd be, that story would resonate. Even for anyone who personally doesn't buy into it, I get it.
Yeah, but is he willing to accept a minimum?
I don't know that he is. And then obviously there's salary cap issues there. Right. And, they're in the playoffs. They're a good team. I think they're going to get knocked out here. I think that it'll be like when Dallas won it all. Cleveland could win it all, but I'll pick against them every round. I didn't pick against them in the first, though.
He would already do what he's done. Come here. Your boy's Dwayne Wade.
Come join Dwayne Wade in Utah.
Come here, man.
With AJ.
Yeah. Well, no. You want to set the league on fire?
That'd be a good story. That will not happen. That would never happen. But it'd be awesome.
Never.
He might go to Golden State. I've heard, we've all read that. But
sure.
Still, where they are, they're not going to beat Oklahoma City. At best, you're going to get picked third in the West.
AJ, and the other guys.
You're going to get picked third in the West.
I'd take on Oklahoma City.
Jimmy Butler. Again, does he want to go play for very little money?
And dudes that are way old.
I know. But we love those storylines. Maybe he'd love it. Wasn't there some movie that was made about the old guys going to the old guys went to the moon or something about what was that movie? People love that kind of stuff.
Moonstruck?
Old cowboys? No, not Moonstruck. Definitely not Moonstruck.
Well, you said something about the moon. Shame on the moon? Blame it on Rio?
You're killing me. I think, wasn't Eastwood and Garner in it or something?
Jim Garner?
James Garner, yes. Space Cowboys, that's what it was.
He filmed...
Tommy Lee Jones, Donald Sutherland, Eastwood. Yeah, it's...
James Garner filmed a movie in the desert in Casa Grande. It's called like Murphy's Law with Sally Field or something. And so he was in town. Mm-hmm. He came into our newsroom in the Casa Grande Dispatch because our editor of the paper, James Garner. So we ran a photo of James Garner and Jim Garner.
Meeting each other. Yeah. Well, that's news. What are you, local TV? My gosh.
Casa Grande, Arizona. Come on, man. A $10,000.
That's the watchdog in Casa Grande, Arizona. Their city budgets of literally hundreds of dollars you must keep an eye on.
They were going to fire the athletic director, Wes Flynn, at Casa Grande Union High School. I found out about it, wrote about it. They had a big meeting. The community uproared, and he kept his job.
See?
And he personally thanked me for keeping his job.
See?
True story.
That's what you should have been doing with those barrels of ink there in Casa Grande.
And the next fall,
James Garner meets James.
He hired a tennis coach, somewhat maybe as a favor to me, and I ended up marrying her.
No way. The kickbacks in Casa Grande, Arizona are outrageous.
I think they knew they needed somebody who could coach tennis, and she'd coached it.
DJ and PK, when we come back, everything you missed in this show next. Stay with us.
For Jazz fans, it's been a rough few years. Well, those days are behind us as the Utah Jazz finally struck gold in the NBA Draft Lottery.
Picking second.
As the Jazz prepare to draft a potential superstar with the number 2 overall pick, nobody will bring you better coverage of the NBA Draft than the KSL Sports Zone. For all the breaking news, high-profile interviews, and player analysis leading right up to draft night, keep it locked on your exclusive home of Utah Jazz basketball. 97.5. The KSL Sports Zone.
I'm here on the job site with Dale, who's a framing contractor.
Hey, good morning.
Dale traded up to Geico Commercial Auto Insurance for all his business vehicles. We're here where he needs us most.
Yep, they sure are.
We make it easy for him to save on all his insurance needs, all in one place, with coverage that fits his business and bottom line. Oh, I shouldn't have looked down.
It's all right.
We're so far up here.
Look at me. Take a deep breath.
No, I'm good. So good.
Get a commercial auto insurance quote today at geico.com and see how much you could save. It feels good to Geico.
Make game day yours. Tickets, food and drinks, stats, and streaming. Everything you need is in the Utah Mammoth app. Download today and make game night easy. Download on both Android and iPhone. Tusk Top.
I sold my car in Carvana last night.
Well, that's cool.
No, you don't understand. It went perfectly. Real offer, down to the penny. They're picking it up tomorrow. Nothing went wrong.
So, what's the problem?
That is the problem. Nothing in my life goes as smoothly. I'm waiting for the catch.
Maybe there's no catch.
That's exactly what a catch would want me to think.
Wow, you need to relax.
I need to knock on wood. Do we have wood? Is this table wood?
I think it's laminate.
Okay, yeah, that's good. That's close enough.
Car selling without a catch. Sell your car today on Carvana. Pickup fees may apply.
Slacker Radio headlines brought to you by Trajan Wealth. Call Trajan Wealth today, your local trusted financial fiduciary. Call them at 1-855-Trajan-1. That's 1-855-Trajan-1. Or visit their website at TrajanWealth.com. We've talked about many things today, PK. Spring football tour, UCF. I suppose I shouldn't be dismissing teams in the Big 12, but don't they sound like a middle of the Big 12 team? Best case scenario, bottom of the Big 12 team if things go wrong. 41 transfers is really hard to know anything for sure.
Yeah, the Sun Belt Player of the Year at quarterback. So we'll see what he does. But, I mean, yeah, middle, probably, yeah.
They don't play Utah, and they don't play Texas Tech, so that ought to help them build a better record. They do have BYU and Arizona State at home.
I think those are two contending teams that they don't play.
Yeah. And the two other teams that could contend that are coming off strong years last year, they get them at home. And they've had a real problem on the road. They only have 4 road games.
Yeah. The Hammers got Utah at 8.
I saw.
Yeah, and you love the Hammer.
Not anymore.
Not anymore? You don't like the Hammer?
I do too. I read him.
Picking him at 8.
I haven't figured out. He writes a lot, and then he gets picked up at KSL.com, but he doesn't get picked up there all the time, it seems like. There's stuff I see teased, and then it's not there. So I don't know if he's writing, if he's only syndicating like 3 of the 6 things he writes, or if there's some
Well, I think it's
like
got to be related to the community.
Which is why I also read him at the Arizona website you told me about, from our sister station down there, the Arizona Sports.
Yeah.
Deal.
I mean, if
because
he's
I've read stuff
writing
there
about Stanford and Cal, nobody cares about Stanford and Cal here.
Right. So
it's got to be related to the.
So I picked up some stuff there.
To what we got going on
I'm
here.
reading him in multiple places.
Yeah, I mean, he's the Hammer.
He is the Hammer. Bring the hammer.
And I'm the nail.
Definitive reporting on a Pac-12 TV contract.
No, I'm the wrench. I'm the monkey wrench.
Oh, okay. That's it. Check out your
DJ and MW.
There. DJ and MW does not roll off the tongue.
It don't. But I'd be shocked if Utah finished 8th.
Yeah, and it never works out that way with all the ties and everything. It sounds such a big deal. And then you find 8th, and you're like 2 games out of going to the conference title game. So I get for purposes of the list you have to do it, but the standings, there literally aren't.
I understand that, but I still think Utah at 8 as well.
I get it.
Dampier could end up being MVP.
Ooh.
And I wouldn't be surprised.
Calling it now.
I'm not saying he's going to. I'm saying he could be. I haven't thought about it much. Just it's not that time of year.
He's a quarterback, so that helps. And he's coming off a big year, so he's already introduced all the voters who are spread all around the country, and who knows how close to attention they're paying in a league this big spread out. He's got their attention. So that alone puts him in the.
And he's from Phoenix.
In the nominees. Okay. Thanks for that.
Well, he is.
We spent a little time talking playoffs. You can be a good team. And I do believe the Lakers are a good team, even shorthanded. And obviously they are, with Doncic sitting over there on the sideline. And Oklahoma City sweeps them. And the Lakers, even shorthanded, did a lot of things right and had the lead with 40 seconds to go. And, man, the Thunder down the last 40 seconds, they did everything right. Bucket stop. Got the Lakers to miss. It could have been a game-tying 3 there at 113-110. Didn't go.
And even if Doncic has played, they have DeAndre Ayton, so they're still shorthanded.
See?
I saw Stephen A. just blast Ayton. I think, I'm over it. This is who he is. Yeah. He has no interest in competing at a high level. And then he's on his 3rd team. What, are you going to go to 4 teams, 5 teams?
Probably. Yeah. I mean, I assume he's young enough. He's talented enough.
But he has no interest in being a big-time player.
If you think he's the missing piece for the championship
he's not.
team,
He's the missing piece of nothing.
I'd
rather have Armand Gilliam.
If you think that, you haven't been watching.
You thought Armand Gilliam was the missing piece.
That's not the
because
point.
Of your
Don't change the topic
PC2A days.
But it's true, I did. But just because you're bored with this topic.
Ronnie Cycli was the missing piece.
No, I never believed that for a second.
Oh, and down in Phoenix, if they'd get guys, like they got James Edwards. Oh,
you got a Chris Morris. You got a neighbor. Chris Morris is the missing piece.
Oh, yeah, that's right. You're right. You're right. Yeah, he got Chris Morris. Guys, come on.
Cleveland, a 24-0 run. That was impressive.
It was. I watched that game, man.
And they beat Detroit 112-103. The series is tied 2-2. At some point, a road team's going to win a playoff game involving the Cavs. But we're 11 games deep in the postseason. It hasn't happened yet. They won a 7-game series with 4 home wins and 3 road losses. And now this series is 2-2 with 2 home wins and 2 road losses. Somebody's going to do it. When does a road team break through?
I have a massive amount of respect for Donovan Mitchell's game. I don't think he can do it as the best player, but if he had somebody, and it's sort of dumb to say this, but, you know, if he could be a Pippen to somebody's Jordan, and Pippen got a ton of run, and Mitchell is a really good player, but he's just not quite good enough. But you go for 43 in a not a total do-or-die game, but going down 3-1, it'd be very difficult.
They're pretty much done. When you're down 3-1, you got 2 road games. It's happened, but your odds of coming back are very small. Most of the 3-1 rallies are teams that have 2 home games. That's when it's more likely to happen.
Although, man, if they could find a way to get by Detroit, and I think it's a coin flip, I think they can get by the Knicks.
Then the Knicks are a coin flip. But you don't think Oklahoma City's a coin flip.
Oh, no, but that's anybody.
But it would be a big deal. These next 3 games are a big deal. Donovan's never been to a conference final.
That's what I'm saying, yeah. Just to get someplace you've never been is an achievement.
And I would just listen to people talking about Embiid with Philly getting kicked out. He's never been to a conference final. Like, every level you get to matters. Yes, ultimately, the
especially if you're the best player on the team.
Right. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I should say that.
I mean, nobody's going to say Sam Merrill never got to a conference final.
No.
But if you're the number one guy.
They did win a game without Sam shooting it well. He shot it pretty well in the postseason, but last night was not a good game for him. So law of numbers, I do wonder, can they break through on the road? Can Sam have a big game 5? He's a guy who can throw in 4 or 5 threes when he gets rolling. And this series is pretty close. So when a role player does that, that's the kind of thing that
I just don't know if he's going to be able
balance.
to get rolling. I don't know if he's going to get enough FGAs to get rolling.
Got 8 shots last night. That's a pretty good number for him. It's about what I expect. He was 2 of 7 from 3.
That's what I look at.
Yeah. He was 2 of 8 from the floor and 2 of 7 from 3.
Yeah. I always look at his threes. So he's 1 3 away from being acceptable.
They won the game without him. I'm just saying there's liable to be close games in this, and if he has the night he's 4 for 5 from 3, that could change the game.
It could. It could, yeah. Okay, yeah.
And I looked at his numbers for the whole postseason just to make sure, and he's shooting like 43% from the floor and 37.5% from 3. That's probably down a little bit off what he does in a regular season, but the competition's better, so
intensity's better.
Intensity's higher, yeah.
And the stakes are higher.
A little wiggle to the numbers is not a big deal.
Yeah, good for him. He's in the league.
One game tonight, Minnesota and San Antonio. I mean, not to oversimplify all of this, but does Wembanyama play and how good is he? Now, he didn't get suspended and he didn't get fined after getting kicked out for that elbow. The game, he has 4 points in 12 minutes and gets kicked out. They lose. The first game, he struggled big time. He was 0 of 8 from 3. They lose that. The 2 games he was on, they win. So far, it's a pretty straight line. How does the best player for the Spurs perform? Do the Spurs win or lose? Edwards hasn't driven Minnesota exactly the same way. They've won when he wasn't great. Now, he was coming back from an injury, too, so it's a little hard to read.
Right.
But the point is, even when he's not 100%, they can win a game. He was not 100% in game 1. He did what he could. He did some good stuff, but it clearly wasn't him. He came off the bench, I think, if I remember right, that game. And he didn't play as many minutes as he normally played. He is a very good player. He's a very good player.
Yeah.
And he's 29 points, 5 boards, 4 assists in this series.
Watching him play the other night when they won, I think it was Sunday, I'm thinking, man, I'd be quite content with Darren Peterson.
Thinking that Peterson is another Edwards?
Shot making is the premier skill.
That is. I think that if you're looking for the thing that really impresses me about Edwards is he seems capable of playing with a very high energy level for a very long period of time. Nobody has it all the time, but I think he plays with a lot of energy. And there's a lot to be said for the things you do on a court if you just have more energy than the other team. Your ability to beat somebody to hoop, your ability to jump over somebody at the rim if you have to. Don't want to make a living doing that, but when you have to, you have to. His ability to change ends of the court just relentlessly. He doesn't seem to coast in games. I just always feel an energy level coming out of him. I think that makes all your teammates better. You play with energy, they want to do it too.
When he's open, I expect it to go in.
Yep, absolutely. He's an elite scorer. I mean, that's.
You can see why he went number one.
But he doesn't get the hype being in Minnesota. And he was at college was Georgia, right?
He went to Georgia one year.
Yeah. Again, not that that's a small school, but it's not.
It's a football school.
It's a football school. If he were at Duke at North Carolina, he'd have had a bigger profile.
Mm-hmm. But he still went number one. You can't go higher than that.
No. Well, basketball people can appreciate it, but just from like the whole celebrity point of view, Georgia and Minnesota aren't the biggest stages. And for as good as his talent is and his energy level, he hasn't been to an NBA final. He has been to conference finals.
Well, he needs to get on the biggest stage, man. He needs to come to Salt Lake.
Maybe they're the second best team in basketball.
We're going to be the biggest stage. Mark my words.
Maybe they're the third best. Mark your words.
Yeah. Mark them.
Straight out of your mother's mouth, right?
Yeah. With an obscenity in between.
Mark might believe in
She'd
words.
modify the word words.
DJ PK, we're back with your feedback next. Stay with us. May 14th, Beehive Meals opens their new production facility in Ogden. Tune in as Scotty and the coach broadcast live covering the grand opening and bringing the energy. DJ and PK, time for your feedback. Everything you have to say about today's show. How much does getting the second pick change your perspective on the Jazz tanking? Tony, not much. I've always liked them and I always will.
Nice.
Tyson, tanking was definitely the right move. The only issue I have with it is that they didn't do it immediately after trading Woke Don and Gobert. After that trade, they were destined to be mediocre, and it was actually really obvious. Because they had like 37-win seasons. Drafted in that 9-10 range instead of giving themselves a chance to draft top 4.
Yeah, maybe they had to get to this point. And if they would have been throwing games and sitting guys for 4 straight years, Adam Silver would have lost his hair.
Kelly says tanking's stupid no matter who does it. I hope the league actually solves this problem.
Good luck with that.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to solve the problem.
Make it better, maybe.
Been following the NBA for 40 years, and teams have been tanking for 40 years. And you read up on it, and they were tanking 57 years ago, 56 years ago, whenever it was Kareem came out.
Yeah, when I lived back in New Jersey, I was a huge Buffalo Braves fan, and that year, it was tough to follow that year, But they ended up getting Bob McAdoo, so it was okay.
Bud says, how long before he gets traded or wants out? We don't even know who he is, and Bud's already worried about it.
Well, if they get AJ, he'll sign a lifetime contract.
Think the odds would be pretty good, Boozer, too?
You never know.
You never know. Yeah. But I just think to have Carlos, who did leave, and who says, well, now in retrospect, seeing how it worked out, I wish, I hadn't left.
Right, but the Jazz may decide they need to trade him because they got a great deal.
Yep, that's true.
Who knows? But yeah, obviously, if you're going to go, Dybantsa and Boozer look like they would be the most comfortable immediately. I don't know how much. I think Cameron was actually born here, and obviously AJ. There's no surprise he's literally played in the arena. We've watched him play in the arena. They played Wisconsin in the arena. We were both there watching that game.
Jedra says, as a Jazz fan, I watched friends get hosed on season tickets. They stopped going to games. It was that bad. These friends didn't have a lot of money. They had to sacrifice in other areas to get nosebleed season tickets. It's not at all fair to them for the organization to cheat them out of an entire year by intentionally tanking.
What did he happen on the season tickets?
They got hosed on season tickets.
How does that work?
They stopped going to games. It was that bad.
How do you get hosed on season tickets?
I guess you bought them and then they tanked. I don't know what
is that
season
what you're
it was.
saying?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
They didn't have a lot of money and they sacrificed to get nosebleed season
when?
tickets. That's a great question. They don't say. This year was really predictable. Did you get caught earlier?
Yeah.
When it wasn't predictable? Yeah, I don't know. Jennifer doesn't say that.
Well, Jennifer, I need to know. Me hanging, Jen. Nothing worse than hanging Jen.
DJ PK, we are all done. Jake and Ben are coming up next right here on this. No, they are not. You're right. Scotty G and the coach are coming up next. I knew I'd do that. Man, I made it a couple weeks and I butchered it. All right. Scotty G and the coach next. Stay with us.
Hey, sweetie, your mother showed me this Carvana thing for selling the car. I'm going to give it a try. Wish me luck. Me again. I put in the license plate. It gave me an offer. Unbelievable. Okay, I accepted the offer. They're picking it up Tuesday from the driveway. I haven't even left my chair. It's done. The car's gone. I'm holding a check. Anyway, Carvana, give it a whirl. Love ya.
So good, you'll want to leave a voicemail about it. Sell your car today on Carvana. Pickup fees may apply.